The views expressed on the previous programs are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and do not reflect those of the Beasley Broadcast staff, advertisers.
By the way, Josh Cordes wants to apologize to the audience for being a little tardy with those bedtime stories on our website. Don't you want to apologize?
Yes, my bad.
He says, screw you guys, okay, just wait. They're up there. Read them.
I apologize.
Friday, you bastard.
Hey, how the hell are you? Welcome to Jack in the Box. I'm Jack, and I'll be happy to fill your order, if you know what I mean.
I'd like a Jack burger and a large fries.
Sorry, pal, we're cleaning the grease fryer. We don't have any French fries today.
Okay, then just give me a small order of fries, please.
Look, Chief, maybe you didn't hear me. I said we don't have any fries today, so how about something else?
Oh, okay, then just give me an order of fries.
Listen up, pal. Who put the straw in strawberry?
Nature did.
That's right, nature did. Who put the ape in apricot?
Nature did.
That's right, nature did. Now listen carefully. Who put the freak in French fries?
There ain't no freak in French fries.
That's what I've been trying to tell you, butt breath. There ain't no freak in French fries. Now get out of my sight before I shove your teeth so far down your throat you'll have to sit on a Jack burger to eat it. Oh, and have a nice day.
Wouldn't that be something if you had teeth in your
rectum?
It's 10:02 at 560 WQM. Happy Veterans Day. Today's the holiday. George just couldn't figure it out. He said there's no school today, and then he went like that. Must be the pressure from that big lunch with Joe yesterday.
That's what it was.
To you. I mean, Veterans Day is November 11th, but since it comes on a Saturday, and in America we have to make damn sure that, you know, you got to get a day off for a holiday, right?
Right.
So, see ya. So anyway, we're celebrating it today. That's why the kids are off from school. That's why a lot of people went away for a nice long 3-day weekend. See ya. See all you guys. Before I forget and do anything else, BSO deputies will be conducting DUI saturation patrols this weekend in honor of the holidays, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight from 8:30 until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning in the areas of Deerfield Beach, Pompano Beach, and Oakland Park. And then tomorrow...
Yeah, like where in Pompano Beach? Like, do we have a little, can we zero in on that?
Now just avoid Pompano altogether.
Unless you're going to the track, be sure and go there. Or the Loop Back Road, go there. But other than that... Now, can I get back to this? Why, are you planning on being inebriated again tonight? I thought you were boozing it up last night.
What are you talking about? I live in Pompano Beach.
Yeah, well, just don't go home, okay? Booze it up and just lay on a park bench somewhere.
In the gutter would be good.
That would be excellent. In a dumpster, and then you might find some nice lunch. Can I go back to this again, please? See, he's interrupting already. He screwed up, didn't put any of the stories on there until about 9:15 this morning.
I had a little problem with the internet last night.
Yeah, you had a problem with your instrument last night. Yeah, I believe that. Wouldn't be the first time. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's people who read every story on there, including some 15. I've read that one about Chavez said Bush ought to be executed. We'll get to that, though. Let me start over again. I killed some good time. BSO deputies will conduct DUI saturation patrols tonight from 8:30 till 5 o'clock tomorrow morning in Deerfield Beach, somewhere in Pompano Beach and Oakland Park, and then tomorrow night from 8:30 till 5 o'clock Sunday morning in areas of unincorporated Central Broward, Pompano Beach, and Oakland Park. Not a good weekend to get smashed, Josh, unless you're going to go over to George's house.
Okay.
Impaired drivers will be identified and DUI laws will be actively enforced. This information is published in compliance with a Supreme Court ruling mandated prior announcement of selective enforcement activities, so they just can't spring it on you. So as a service of WQAM and this show, we pass it along to you. Don't say we didn't warn you, okay, when you get your next DUI. Here's the poll result from yesterday. How satisfied are you with the election results? 1,957 votes, boys and girls. That's one hell of a lot. We're not going to do a lot today because I forgot to put the poll up till about 9 last night. I just forgot about it. I was playing like George, you know. How satisfied are you with the election results? I'm ecstatic, 635. Happy, 595. There's nothing wrong with being ecstatic or happy. How was Joe Bell? Is he happy?
Yeah, he's jolly. Jolly Joe.
I'm so happy I'm squeezing myself, 426. A lot of squeezing going on out there, I'm sure of that. I still don't care, 155. Heartless bastards. I'm not happy, 82. I'm suicidal, 38, to which we say, go ahead and pull the trigger, squeeze it. And I hate this poll, only 26. A mere 1.3%. Boy, that's really something. Quite a turnaround, ain't it? At last. Be sure to join Kim Bocamper this afternoon, noon to 1 at the Char Hut on Taft Street, just east of Flamingo and Pembroke Pines. Stop by to win prizes. Are those the crappy QAM prizes, I'm sure?
The same.
Oh. And celebrate Char Hut's 30th anniversary.
About 30, man.
With Bo today at the Char Hut in the Pines, noon till 1 p.m. Go over there and get one of them char cheese or one of those. I like the sausage with cheese and onion.
Yeah, we knew you liked sausage.
I beg your pardon?
I said, how you doing?
Oh, that's right. You got your ice cream and the wieners today.
All right.
I almost forgot about that. No wonder you showed up even on a holiday. I wonder what that was all about. Yeah. So that's why both of these guys showed up today, because they got tubs of ice cream from Jackson's in Dania coming in honor of Jackson's anniversary. Where's that thing I'm supposed to read?
Over there somewhere in your pile.
It's in my pile. Here it is right here. National Deli proudly presents the first annual Big Dog Eating Contest at Jackson's Ice Cream. That's November 18. That's still a week from tomorrow. But in honor of that, Jackson's is coming in again today with tubs and tubs of those goopy concoctions that they're so famous for, and probably Rocky Road with hot fudge and butterscotch and whipped cream and cherries and footlong premium all beef hot dogs. Are you going to participate in the Big Dog Eating Contest on the 18th week from tomorrow and shovel as many down your puss as you can? I doubt it.
No, I'll leave that for the spectator sport.
I'm sure that a lot of the, I'm sure we all have seen these people although some of those Japanese people are very proficient at doing that. I wonder what that's all about, because Japanese, like you said yesterday, mostly are skinny, and it's skinny people who are doing that, too.
Right, that Kobayashi kid.
Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
What's his specialty? Oh, you can't say it on the air, okay.
He eats.
Okay, here's today's pool, which we're off to a very slow start, and that's my fault. So both Josh and I screwed up bad last night. Too bad. We don't care. Just like George told Joe, just keep the checks coming. And what is this with Joe Bell trying to, I don't know, is he trying to aggravate or agitate? Because I'm in a very good mood. Everything is wonderful.
Yeah, I told him that, except for those rejoins.
And what did he say? Too bad?
He just nodded. Well, pretty much, I guess. That's the answer by default.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he didn't say that he was going to tell Clarence to cut the crap and we don't have to play them anymore. So
what, the rejoins?
Right. So what does that leave?
As long as we get paid, that's all we care about. If Clarence wants to run 10-minute rejoins and ruin the length of listenership, which he knows nothing about, he knows nothing about broadcasting. That's what it boils down to. They took a little sports nerd. In fact, Clarence is like one step away from somebody else, one of his boyfriends. Yeah, he's about a half a step away from that. Like El Retardo. And they made him into a program director. Poof, you're a program director. He used to be Duff's assistant. Now all of a sudden you're a PD. And he's like, look what he's done. Look what he's done for us. He's given us some numbers that start with in different day parts. Not midday, though. He hasn't been able to mess with us enough. So that must be why he puts those long. And, of course, we can blame Josh for part of that, too, because he always waits till the last break. Always waits till the last break, and then he plays that one with Mad Dog and on and on and on. And here I've tried to back time. I don't care. You notice you still can't fool me, because when I sense that it's one of the real long ones, I still have time to change the,
It's your spider sense, I guess.
How many of your friends and or family listen to Neil? 645 votes. A few, 251. 0, 169. 0, none of them. Well, I tell you, this makes me feel really bad. You believe it? No. Almost none, 148. Most of them, 29. And then George insisted that we add some, which I thought a few is some, but he said some, which has got 15.
A few sounds less than half, or like a small amount.
So some? Some can be a small amount.
Can be a 50.
About half. Is that what some means?
Maybe. If you want it, whatever you want it to
brother. Be. How many idiots do we have working at QAM? Some. All of them 14. Wow. I hate this poll 10, only 1.5%, and only my enemies listen 9. I thought that would be kind of cute to put something. Always got to have something a little cutesy on there, you know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Give them a place to go. 649 votes, 9 say only my enemies listen. Like that. Okay, let's get down to business now. Let's see. Mad Dog is at Hooters in Pompano today between 2 and 4. The Power Hour with Humper and the Mad Dog, 4 to 5. Everybody all over town is talking about that Power Hour. That's when they take a shower together. And then the Humper Solo between 5 and 7 o'clock, who I hope has lost an ounce since yesterday. 194, by the way. I lost almost a pound. Aren't you proud? No.
Yeah.
Actually, it would have been more than that, but then the day was almost over, and it dawned on me I haven't had my sliced beef with mushrooms like from my dream the night before. So I went over to a Chinese joint. I got some, and it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't as good as in the dream. Seldom in life is anything really as good in real life as it is in a dream. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Opening tip with Bimbo Cools at 7 o'clock tonight, and, of course, that must be because of the Panther game. Opening tip my ass. Get out of here with this nonsense. And then, of course, we got after that crap, 7:30 Panther preview. The Panthers at the Sabres in Buffalo at 8 o'clock. I bet you Geldy is right. Hey, Geldy! How you doing? He's outside the window just knocking, trying to get in. And then after the Panthers get... Well, you never know. They might pull off a surprise in Buffalo. I doubt it. And then Eddie K follows the hockey game. So that's the agenda here on QAM. We got the Hurricanes are going to lose to Maryland, which means what's-his-name's going to get fired. And, of course, Hank's trying desperately to get his buddy Butch Davis back in there again. You notice how Hank, one of the things he likes to do is get all his buddies. Who's that one guy, that Jewish guy that he's always, I don't know what he does now or if he's still alive. He was always pushing for him to get some job at, FIU or FAU or somewhere. What was that guy's name?
Oh, that Jewish guy?
Yeah. No, you know who I'm talking about.
Jaime Schmendrick.
Jaime Schmendrick, that's the guy. Come on, Josh, you know who I mean.
No, I don't think I do.
Always pushing and pushing and pushing that guy. Now I guess he gave up on him, so he's got Butch Davis. Butch Davis. Let's get him in there, Bring him back. He won 4 bowl games. Butch Davis. So that the fans can stop spitting on the players already over there at UM. A disgrace. An absolute disgrace. I don't care what kind of crap Barry Jackass keeps writing in his stupid insipid column about, the media went way overboard on picking on UM and that kid got shot and killed. And let me say this to you, too. As much as, I haven't met him, but I like Kenny Walker a lot just fine. I hope the guys do really well in the morning, although I doubt it. But that thing that they went through yesterday about, it's not because he was a football player, but somebody's out there in this community and they've killed somebody, right. And we need, there have been plenty of other young guys who've gotten shot and killed, and young girls and other innocent people, and nobody is on our station screaming, what are we going to do? Somebody's out there on the loose. Somebody's got to, solve this crime. Let's get Dick Tracy on the job. Remember Crime Stoppers on Dick Tracy? I don't remember what it was. It was like something you'd cut out and put in a...
Yeah.
I did that when I was a kid. It was kind of like... Yeah, but nevertheless. Crime Stoppers, that's what we need here on QAM. Not only enough that we pass along the BSO DUI check places and the pig reports, we got to pass along the important stuff, like who killed Cock Robin, who killed JFK, who really killed MLK, all these things. Do you think that's a good idea since we're so news-intensive here on QAM?
No question.
So George told Joe Bell yesterday during their very important QM brainstorming session that sports talk sucks.
Spot Swap Friday, you bastards.
Mr. Lecter, save me a piece. I'm disappointed you passed on Clarice. Still eating people right after you kill them. Not even leaving behind a tiny crumb. Lecter, finger licking. He claims that people taste just like chicken. If you see Hannibal on the streets, better honor you a dead meat. Mr. Lecter, I've got to ask, how do you eat things through that funky mask? Though it looks good, you can't move your jaw. The first cannibal to use a silly straw. Lecter, I wish I saw you pay a visit out to Chappaqua. Eat the Clintons on your next spree. Just remember your Pepsi.
10:19 at 560 WQAM. Happy Friday, November 10. Anyway, this fax says Mark Trestman is Hank's buddy. That's not the guy. This guy I'm trying to think of, I think his name is also Hank, like Rosenstein, Rosenblatt, something. Goldschlub. I don't know what it is. Maybe Josh will answer the phone and somebody will call and tell you what it is.
Yeah, it's ringing right now.
Well, answer it.
No, it's not ringing.
You're not going to answer the phone?
It's not ringing.
Oh. Call up Josh Cordes and tell him what the answer to that is, because it'll drive me nuts all weekend.
8 guests a day on it.
I got 2 faxes on that Trustman thing.
And that's not even close. Not even close. But anyway, for whatever reason, the humper. Maybe Butch Davis buys all the meals or something when he's in town. Or buys all the booze. Sure of that. Well, let's get back, what's his name? Denny Erickson. He was always buying the booze for the players. Anyway, who the hell cares about U of M and the fact that they're losing all these games? They're going to get their ass kicked at Maryland again. Now, let's see. The Dolphins play the Chiefs on Sunday. Wow. That could be another really ugly performance. Don't get confused by what happened last Sunday in Chicago, by the way. Don't be confused by that. Don't let that fool you for even 1 second. I know I'm sure not going to allow me to, myself to get sucked into that.
Don't ruin their 1 week of glory.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize profusely, don't I?
No.
Just like you apologize for putting the stories on this morning instead of last night. I don't apologize.
I'm sorry.
Josh. We don't care, okay? We're just here to get a paycheck. Just call me Johnny Paycheck. Lucknow, India. A man in northern India will be publicly slapped 51 times as punishment after village elders found him guilty of raping a neighbor who was deaf and mute. 51 slaps, baby. The elders stepped in to be, well, they're not big on women over there. They just don't treat them awfully well, in case you haven't noticed. And unless they have a big dowry. The elders stepped in to review the case because local police had failed to arrest the accused man after a complaint was filed by the victim's husband. Police told us that since the woman is deaf and mute, she's not able to narrate the incident, they'd be saying. A village court made up of 5 elders heard from both sides on Wednesday found the man guilty, fined him 5,000 rupees, that's $110 US, ordered that he be publicly slapped with an open hand 51 times. Open hand. We can't do more than that. The village court doesn't have powers to arrest anybody. They said by public slapping, the court wants to put him to shame. We're going to slap your ass. You rapist bastard, you. Of course, he can't hear whatever they say anyway. But communicating through hand signals, the woman, a mother of 3, said she was raped in a field last Sunday. Oh, that's right. She's the one that's deaf. When returning home from work in Rampur, 205 miles northwest of Lucknow, the state capital of Uttar Pradesh. Sounds utterly ridiculous to me, the whole thing. Village courts generally settle land disputes and other disagreements among residents, not criminal offenses. But many rape cases go unreported in India, especially in villages, because women fear further harassment by the police, who often work with corrupt local politicians and landlords to harass their ass. How do you like that? 51 slaps with an open hand. 698 votes on our poll. Geldy's in Buffalo. That's a good place for him, boy. I think he finally found his match. Did anybody call in and tell you the name of that guy, Hank?
The phone's ringing.
But he's not answering it.
No.
His name is Green something, not Greenberg.
Greensleeves.
Yeah, Greensleeves by the Brothers Four. I bet you don't have that on Columbia Records.
Oh, let me fire up the old player here.
Oh, wait a minute. Greensleeves, or am I thinking about Green Fields?
Well, we'll find both of them.
Myron Cohen, that's the guy's name. Come on, nobody's called in to tell you the name of the guy?
I want to say Seth Greenberg.
That's it.
The basketball coach?
All right. See, I told you it was Greenberg, Greenstein, Green Schwartz, Green Sleeves. I told you, Seth Greenberg. Oh, I can't believe it. Now, is that the Brothers Four? I bet
yes, it is.
And he's always hyping him up to get a job.
He sure is.
Once there were green fields.
Okay, that's enough.
Oh, come on.
So that's a surprise to you that he's been, I don't know recently, but boy, I'll tell you, once upon a time, like every 5 minutes, he ought to be, I think, isn't he a basketball coach or something?
College basketball. I know he has him on, like, for his tournament show. And
Constantly. Seth Greenberg, this, Seth Greenberg, that, Goldberg, Greenberg, it's all the same. It's all very Jewish.
Boy!
Lose some weight, Hank, okay? We don't want to lose you. We don't want you to be, by the way, Ed Bradley died yesterday, the one with the earring.
Yeah, he had an earring.
I mean, I liked Ed Bradley a lot. He was a fine journalist. I enjoyed his work and all of that. But you would have thought that something cataclysmic happened yesterday, the way the media was all over this. See, this is what they do. They, it's like a fraternity like everything else. And everybody liked him a lot, and he was a good guy, never stole a freight train. And so as a result, they all got in there and eulogized and on, Okay, he was 65. It's not like he was a spring chicken or something like that. 65 can be old enough at times. Not for me, though, of course.
Right.
Having just turned 64. I'm not ready to croak quite that soon. I'm going to stick around a long time just to piss certain people off.
Good.
Now, what did Joe Bell say about that? He said we're going to re-up for like about 20 years or something like that?
He
didn't bring that up.
He'll keep sending you those checks for life until you're croaking, until you're dead and buried.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, he did.
704 votes on the poll today. We are going to be having to scratch and scrape, and we're going to have to work to get to 1,000 today. It's my fault. If we don't get there, I'll take the blame. I'll take the fall for it. How's that?
Okay.
New estimates said Iraq civilian deaths at 150,000. Nice going, W. You butcher. A stunning new death count emerged yesterday as Iraq's health minister estimated 150,000 civilians have been killed in the war, about 3 times previously accepted estimates. Moderate Sunni Muslims, meanwhile, threatened to walk away from politics and pick up guns, while the Shiite-dominated government renewed pressure on the U.S. to unleash the Iraqi army and claimed it could crush violence in 6 months. After Democrats swept the majorities in both houses of the U.S. Congress, and after Defense Secretary Rumsfeld resigned, Iraqis appeared unsettled and seemed to sense the potential for an even bloodier conflict because future American policy is uncertain. It's uncertain. As a result, positions hardened on both sides of the country's deepening sectarian divide. Previous estimates of Iraqi deaths held that 45 to 50,000 have been killed in nearly 44-month-old conflict. You do realize now we're on the verge of being in Iraq longer than WW2. Do you understand that?
I do. I've been reading that.
According to partial figures from Iraqi institutions and media reports, no official count has ever been available. But now, Health Minister Ali al-Shamari, I wonder if he's kin to Muhammad Ali or Ali Sherman.
Aren't they all?
Gave his new estimate of 150,000. Seth Greenberg, oh my God. His new estimate of 150,000 reported during a visit to Vienna, Austria. He later told the Associated Press that he based the figure on an estimate of 100 bodies a day brought to morgues and hospitals, though such a calculation would come out closer to 130,000 total. But who's counting? You know what I'm saying? Obviously not, nobody real closely. It's an estimate, he said. He blamed Sunni insurgents, the Wahhabis, Sunni religious extremists, and criminal gangs for the deaths. The Wahhabis.
Wahhabi.
Yeah. I was looking for that. I don't think we have that in here anymore, do we?
Just by itself?
Just relax, okay? Please. Hassan Salem of the Supreme Court for the Islamic Revolution in Iraq, or SCIRI, said the 150,000 figure included civilians, police, and the bodies of people who were abducted, later found dead, and collected in morgues run by the health ministry. It's a bloodbath, baby. Since 3.5 years since the change of the Saddam regime, some people say we have 600,000 killed, said Shamari. This is an exaggerated number. I think 150 is okay, he said. Oh, in other words, if it was 600, it would be too many dead people. But 150, he said, is, it's... Okay. It's okay. Like that. 708 on the poll. Keep track very closely.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
Hi there, you bastard.
KTEL presents over 748 of the greatest songs of love, especially for the lady in your life, by Jerry Lewis.
Lady, when I'm with you, I'm crazy. Yeah.
So many love songs for your lady, all interpreted by the Love Meister himself, an inimitable superstar entertainer, Jerry Lewis. And you'll get your favorite lady love song.
Lady, lay across my big breast and...
It's an amazing compendium of 748 love songs for your lady, all digitally remastered and all performed by the masterful superstar, Jerry Lewis.
Hi, this is Jerry, inviting you to join me on KTEL Records as we pay a very special musical tribute to the lady.
You'll get this Aerosmith classic.
Hey, you look like a lady. Hey, you look like a lady.
It's Jerry.
It's the little old lady with a pair of tweezers.
And Helen Reddy's hit never sounded better.
That ain't no way to treat a lady, no way to treat your lady, no woman.
And listen to Jerry's amazing interpretation of this super hit from the King of Pop.
You are the lady with my wife, the lady. You are the lady with a knife.
Jerry Lewis.
Oh yeah, how about that man?
That's 748 fabulous lady songs on 35 CDs or 123 8-track tapes, all remixed in glorious mono from the original cassette masters. And it's a collection you'll cherish, your friends will love, and your lady will never forget. It's all yours for 17 easy payments of only $32.95, and it's only from KTEL Records. You can tell at KTEL, we yell!
And smell, 10:33, 27 before 11 at 560 WQAM. You notice a common thread with the bits I played so far today?
Jerry Lewis?
Oldies.
Oh, those oldies.
Oldies.
I love them.
Anyway, it's a Friday. It's a holiday today. We tried to figure that out this morning if it was really a holiday, and tomorrow's the holiday. But today's a day off for just about everybody, so we'll see you.
Bye.
On the same day President Bush promised a new bipartisan Washington, he began efforts to get two of his most controversial decisions approved before the Democrats take over Congress. He's trying to shove this crap through there before it's too late. Yesterday, he submitted the nomination of John Bolton as U.S. ambassador, that revolting John Bolton, to the UN, and said he would like to move forward on legislation to authorize the National Security Agency's domestic surveillance program. the Spy on You Guys program. Bush said he would like to see action on both issues before the year's end. The Democratic-controlled Congress, of course, takes over in January. Some Republicans are also against the Bolton nomination, by the way. Republican Senator Lincoln Chafee, who was defeated in this week's election, said he would block Bolton's nomination along with the Democrats. Democrats complained that Bolton gave the Senate false information when he failed to note on a questionnaire that he had been questioned by the Department's Inspector General as part of a joint inquiry by the State Department and the CIA into allegations that Iraq attempted to obtain uranium from Niger in Africa. The State Department formally acknowledged the error in Bolton's statement. Also, Senator George Voinovich, Republican of Ohio, took the floor and read a list of complaints by Bolton's subordinates who said he had a reputation of bullying his colleagues, taking facts out of context, and exaggerating intelligence. He's a crazy person with a bizarre mustache. He looks like Mr. Z, whatever that guy's name is. What's the guy's name from Daimler Chrysler? Dr. Z.
Oh, Doc.
Isn't that his name, Dr. Z?
We.
Don't we have a bit about Dr. Z? I'm sure we do in here. Look at that. We got so many doctor. We got Dr. Phil. We got Dr. Scholes. I don't see Dr. Z. Well, at any rate, who cares? It's boring. Democratic Senator Joe Biden is set to become the Foreign Relations Committee's chairman and control the agenda in January. I see no point in considering Mr. Bolton's nomination again in the Foreign Relations Committee, he said, because regardless of what happens there, he is unlikely to be considered by the full Senate. Unlikely. The President also yesterday outlined some other issues he'd like to see Congress address before year's end and had lunch with the likely new Speaker, Representative Nancy Pelosi of California. Among those issues are the Terrorist Surveillance Act of 2006, bipartisan energy legislation, trade legislation, federal spending bill, and agreement with India on a civilian nuclear technology. Yeah, slap them around a little bit. That's the kind of stuff they respond to in India, a little slapping. The Terrorist Surveillance Act is likely to face stiff opposition in the Senate and the House, as both parties have previously criticized the measure as unconstitutional. The legislation would authorize the NSA to eavesdrop on phone calls between people in the U.S. and suspected terrorists overseas, which means anybody they decide, you know. They can do whatever the hell they want.
That's right.
Fascism in motion, boy. And, of course, they're trying to, slip all this stuff through there before the Democrats come in January and put the brakes on it. Put the old brakes, slam the brakes on, baby. Slam them. 735 votes in that poll. I'm going to tell you something. We might as well sign off right now when we look at this thing. How many of your friends and or family have listened to Neil? A few, 286, 0, 188, almost none, 174. So you put 0 and almost none together, and you got almost half. Well, we hate your friends and family. How do you like that? Those half. Yeah, to them. Like I said, to them. Most of them 33, some 17, all of them 15. Yeah, likely story. I hate this poll 12, only 1.6%. Only my enemies listen 10. Only my enemas listen. Nothing like a good Connie, man. Good enema. What does that really mean, Connie? It's a Yiddish word for enema. And I still think that people in my family used to make some of these words up. I don't think there's such a thing as Connie. I know there's Connie Francis and there's Connie Chung.
Yeah.
I wonder where she sticks the old
cube.
Anyway, lawmakers in Massachusetts, speaking of that, the only state where same-sex marriage is legal, dealt with what appeared to be a fatal blow yesterday to a proposed constitutional amendment to ban it. A fatal blow. In a flurry of strategic maneuvering, supporters of same-sex marriage managed to persuade enough legislators to vote to recess a constitutional convention until the afternoon of January 2nd, the last day of the legislative session. On that day, lawmakers and advocates on both sides said it appeared likely the legislature would adjourn without voting on the measure, which, of course, would kill it. They would kill it. Just like that Seth Greenberg, kill it. For all intents and purposes, the debate has ended, said Representative Byron Rushing, a Boston Democrat, and the Assistant Majority Leader. What members are expecting is that the majority of constituents are going to say, thank you, we're glad it's over, we think it's been discussed enough. In other words, get the monkey off their back. They don't want to have their feet put to the fire, all those other stupid-ass cliches. Put your feet to the fire. The measure had been expected by both sides to gain easily the 50 votes required from the 200 legislators as the first step toward making same-sex marriages illegal. Chris Minow, president of the Massachusetts Family Institute, which sponsored the amendment, called the recess vote a travesty, and waving a copy of the state constitution, said the legislature had just said that it's irrelevant, the Constitution. As for whether the fight was over, Mr. Minow said, we're assessing the situation. Up yours, sweetheart. Governor Mitt Romney, a Republican who opposes same-sex marriage, said the vote was a triumph of arrogance over democracy. He said he would explore any alternatives to try to force a vote, but his options are limited. His spokesman, Eric Fernstrom, said the fact that they put this off till the end of the year makes it easier for them to adjourn. If they were giving consideration, I think they would have recessed until tomorrow, maybe Monday or Tuesday next week. The action on Thursday came 2 days after Massachusetts voters elected DeVal L. Patrick, a same-sex marriage supporter, as the state's first Democratic governor in 16 years. Democrats were also elected to all of the statewide offices, leaving the state's Republican Party in shambles. They're in shambles, baby, in Massachusetts. They're falling apart. They're crumbling at the seams, just like Seth Greenberg, whoever he is. Who is he? Is he still alive? I mean, is he around? Where is he the coach?
Now he's the coach at Virginia Tech.
Ah! Well, that says a lot. A guy with the name of Seth Greenberg at Virginia Tech. I wonder what the Goyim think about that, huh? Anyway, the bottom line is Larry Cokehead. He's on the way up. But again, Seth Greenberg's a basketball coach, not a football coach. So instead of bringing in Seth Greenberg to coach a football team, although he probably could do just as well as old Larry, you know. Hey, Larry, you're a loser, baby. The people hate you. They wouldn't spit on the best part of you. The players took it personal, the people in the stands that were spitting at them. They were really spitting at Larry. They just can't get close enough. They just had bad aim. 747 on the pool. Have you ever sat in the upper deck on a 747, you know, way up there on top?
No.
Pretty exciting, although the food it's overpriced and still sucks.
The biggest names of
airlines can't do food. Just remember I told you that.
Rogers, Sports Radio
Bring a sandwich. Smuggle it on.
This obsession with hokey.
And now a few wasted minutes with Andy Rooney.
I had to go grocery shopping the other day, and I realized something when I was at the store. People look different from each other. I always kind of thought that they looked the same, but they don't. As I strolled around in my little cart, I couldn't believe the differences. Walking down the bread aisle, I noticed this woman's hair was different than this woman's. This man had eyes that were sort of blue, while this man had eyes that were brown. This little boy with the lollipop had big ears, and this one didn't. As I parlayed down the bread aisle, I also noticed two women who had different-sized chests. I could sort of tell they were getting mad at me for filming their frontal area. When I finally got to the car and put the groceries in, I realized that people do, in fact, look different from each other. And then I realized something else. I was breathing air. I guess I'll have to figure out why that is when I have some extra time.
Too much time on your hands, Andy. Nice eyebrows, though. 1046 at 560 WQM. He was on with the Kingmeister last night with the suspended hunchback.
Yeah.
They had one of his panels. He had about 800 people on there, all, what's his name? Don Hewitt, who created 60 Minutes. All these CBS people. Talking about Ed Bradley, you know, the guy with the earring.
That guy.
766 votes on the poll. Guess what I Googled, Josh?
Seth Greenberg?
Very good. I just gave you a clue when I played it.
What's this obsession with hokey?
Seth Greenberg recently completed his third season as head coach of the Hokies. Well, he's got a fat head and he's bald. I wonder. During his first season, he guided Virginia Tech to new heights in its quest to reestablish its place among collegiate basketball's elite. And then in the second season, the team even surpassed the accomplishments of the first year. How do you like that for a puff piece? So this is on the Virginia Tech website. Greenberg led a team that suffered numerous off-court tragedies, and with his consistent guidance, enabled the team to leave off-court problems out of the game and focus on each contest. The Hokies finished the season 14-16. Wow! And remained a competitive force in the best conference in the nation. 14-16. Holy moly, that's only 2 games under 500, man. Is that good or what?
What?
It goes on about this and that, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop. He bought a lot of meals for Hank Goldberg, Greenberg, Goldberg, Schwartzberg, whatever it is. Remember Dr. Schwartzman? You know what movie that was in, don't you?
No.
Dr. Schwartzman?
Get the honey, Junior.
Oh, that doctor.
Yeah. He was the one with the stethoscope that... wait a minute, was it Dr. Schwartzman with the stethoscope, or was that the doctor in Requiem for a Dream? Well, I guess most doctors have stethoscopes, but basically that's all he did. Remember that?
Yes.
She was sitting there, and he said, get this pill to give her another prescription. They had her all hopped up on pills, man. Doctors have got their patients all hopped up on pills, especially old people like Sarah Goldfarb. I wonder if she's going to set Greenberg. Goldfarb, Greenberg. Whoever said it's a Goya Chevelle, man. Everybody's Jewish. No, she didn't say that. I think she said it's a Schwarzwelt. 768 votes on the poll. We'll make 1,000 today, whether Josh likes it or not. And we'll get a few people reading those bedtime stories. Go check them again, please, if you would. Or not. I mean, who the hell am I to tell you what to do? But, I mean, we have a lot of people who like to read those stories on the website early, and, of course, they weren't on there till 9:15 because Josh had issues with his instrument last night. It wasn't functioning. American and Iraqi officials have set a date for giving Iraq's forces responsibility for security across the country. Under a plan to be presented to the UN Security Council next month, the Iraqi government would assume authority from coalition troops by the end of next year. Only hours after Hermann Goering Rumsfeld was replaced as U.S. Defense Secretary, American, British, and Iraqi officials spoke openly about accelerating the handover process. Here you go, it's all yours. Here's the keys to the kingdom. We'll see you. And just before we leave, of course, one last attempt to hook that log onto those oil fields, but didn't work out too well. Remember, that was going to pay for the whole deal.
That's right.
That Iraqi oil, it was going to cover all the costs instead of us spending $1 trillion or whatever it's going to be.
Iraq makes its own gravy.
Baghdad made clear that it would use the Democratic victory in congressional midterm elections to push Bush for concessions. Confidence of Uri al-Maliki, the Iraqi prime minister, said that they hoped defeat would make Bush more open to ideas that he had previously rejected. However, Margaret Beckett, the foreign secretary, sought to play down the impact of both the Republican midterm election losses and the dismissal of Hermann Goering Rumsfeld. She said it was unlikely there would be a major upheaval of U.S. policy in Iraq. In a speech to the Royal U.S. Services Institute think tank, she said, "We will leave when they are confident they can take the role of security in the country on their own shoulders." The Iraqis, those wimpy Iraqis. All sides said that Rumsfeld's departure provided an opportunity to set a clearer timetable for withdrawing all foreign forces. A new tone was set by Bush. He said that he was open to ideas that would help the U.S. to achieve its goals of defeating the terrorists and ensuring that Iraq's democratic government succeeded. The plan being drawn up in Baghdad, with Washington's approval, seeks a one-year extension of the UN mandate for foreign forces in Iraq, but it also states that by December 2007, just over a year from now, security in the country's 18 provinces, apart from the most violent, be handed over to the Iraqi army and police. U.S. and British troops would play a support role. And then they'd say, "Hey, we'll see you. Here's the keys. Don't get yourself locked out." 773 votes on the poll, as we tried desperately to see if we still have an audience in the midst of QAM drowning like the Titanic. That's what Joe Bell told George at lunch yesterday. Got any ideas for what we can do because Clarence is killing us? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, something like that.
So Clarence and Joyce between the two of them. Iraqis yesterday cheered the resignation of Defense Secretary Rumsfeld, blaming him for policy failures and scandals they say helped spawn the daily sectarian carnage racking their nation. Carnage, baby. Murder and bloodshed. Lunacy. Rumsfeld's resignation shows the scale of the mess the U.S. has made in Iraq, said Ibrahim Ali, 44. There's another Ali guy, who works at the oil ministry. The efforts by American politicians to hide their failure are no longer working. Iraq's government has yet to comment on Rumsfeld's resignation. Prime Minister Maliki has in recent weeks grown increasingly critical of U.S. policies and pushed for his government to assume more responsibility for security from U.S.-led coalition forces. Many in Baghdad said they expect changes in the U.S. approach under Rumsfeld's expected replacement, former CIA Director Robert Gates. More about him later, by the way. He's also very suspect and may not even get confirmed when you come right down to it. Suspect at best. Now, here's the story that people seem to be reading on our website in spite of Josh's lateness with it. And he apologizes again, by the way. He's very sorry, and he'll never do it again until he feels like it. Basically, what he said was he'll put him on there when he's good and ready. Isn't that what you said? When he's good and ready.
That's right.
His computer's working. If he ain't busy diddling around with some hot Russian chick, if he's not out there getting drunk, then he'll put him on there. Otherwise, get off his ass. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez slammed the Saddam Hussein death penalty and said it is U.S. President George Bush who should be sentenced to death. If sentencing is to be done, said Chavez in Caracas earlier this week, the first one to be given the most severe sentence this planet has to offer should be the President of the U.S. if we're talking about genocidal presidents, the Herald reported yesterday. The leftist Venezuelan leader has often criticized the Bush administration for its war efforts in Iraq and Afghanistan and for allegedly trying to overthrow his own administration in Venezuela. Chavez called Bush the devil in September while addressing the U.S. General Assembly in New York. The devil. The devil's in the details. The devil made me do it. Isn't that what probably Reverend Ted said about the devil made him do it? We're not playing that bit, though, because it's not an oldie.
Right.
It's all Oldies Friday because it's Veterans Day. It's a holiday. Don't forget to join Kim Bocamper this afternoon, noon to 1. At the Char Hut, located on Taft Street, just east of Flamingo and Pembroke Pines. Stop by to win all kinds of crappy QM prizes, but really to enjoy the great food at Char Hut and celebrate Char Hut's 30th anniversary.
About 30, man.
With big Kim Bocamper. Boy, if you never stood next to him, he'll make you feel like a midget.
He'll dwarf you.
Noon to 1 at the Pines Char Hut today, with Bo and Schmo and whatever else is going to be there. Well, speaking of what I just said, President Bush's pick to replace Rumsfeld with former CIA Director Robert Gates is an odd one, considering it's almost certain to revive festering questions about the Bush administration's handling of pre-war intelligence on Iraq. Gates is one of those long-time Washington insiders whose name is not likely to ring bells outside of the Beltway. But he's long been a major player in Republican national security circles, first as a Russian specialist on President Ford's White House National Security Council in '74, then eventually at the CIA, where he held a handful of senior positions before being tapped to be chief by the first Bush, H.W. Walker, whatever, in 1991. See, I'm not reading all that well because it's a holiday, and quite frankly, we're just funning you today, okay?
Right.
We're just sliding our way through. It'd be like working on Thanksgiving Day, which we're not, none of us. And it wasn't the first time he'd been nominated for the post or his first dose of trouble in the spotlight, it says. In early '87, his role in the so-called Iran-Contra affair, a secret White House operation to sell weapons to radical Islamic Iran in exchange for the release of U.S. hostages and cash for CIA-backed rebels in Nicaragua, came under scrutiny. Gates withdrew his nomination in the face of sure rejection back then. Then, during his 1991 nomination hearings to run the CIA, Gates ran into a buzzsaw testimony from a former agency analyst who said that during the 80s, Gates had skewered intelligence to fit the convictions of senior Reagan administration officials that Soviet agents had concocted a plan to assassinate the Pope and were arming and encouraging Marxist revolutionary groups to carry out terrorist attacks. Both theories turned out to be wrong, according to Carolyn McGiffert Ekdahl, who headed a team of CIA analysts assigned to the task of investigating the theory. While Moscow boasted of its backing for such revolutionary groups as Yasser Arafat's PLO, which was fighting Israel's occupation of Palestinian territory, and the African National Congress led by Nelson Mandela, it privately urged them not to engage in terrorism, Ekdahl said. But Gates, then head of CIA analysis, was dissatisfied with her draft, Ekdahl said, and helped rewrite it with an angle to suggest greater Soviet support for terrorism. In other words, he's another liar and a phony, and another stoolie of the Bush crowd. How do you like that? That sound really reassuring, like we have a major change now that Hermann Goering Rumsfeld has stepped aside. And the Republicans are really up in arms about that, too. The fact that Bush lied last week and said that over his dead body would Bush or Cheney, or would Rumsfeld or Cheney be gone, that they would be there till the end of his term. And then all of a sudden, the day after the election, he said, oh, by the way, Donnie, you're done. Bye-bye, Donnie. Because they're thinking that if he would have done it, a day or two before the election, that might have, given them enough, and thank God he didn't, you know what? Giving them a little bit of impetus. Like that Makakowicz, for example, in Virginia. Who, like we told you, didn't we tell him yesterday that on MSNBC was saying that he was going to concede at 3 o'clock yesterday? What did he do at 3 o'clock yesterday?
I don't know.
Conceded. Which he is. He's conceded. Like George. Well, George is a big shot now. He had lunch with the boss yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Now, where was the
everything,
lunch?
What?
Where was this lunch?
At the Sizzler in Hollywood. Wait, Longhorn Steakhouse, sorry.
Hey, you better get it right, mister. I bet you it cost the boss a pretty penny, and I also bet you he put it on the damn expense account.
Sure hope so.
Well, listen, anybody would actually buy you lunch in his position? A guy like him, a man in his position is going to dig deep into his own pockets and buy you lunch?
I doubt that.
Me too. 792 votes on the poll as we try to determine if there's an audience out there. What's the story? It's a poll, something different. How many of your friends and or family listen to the Neil Rogers Show? 792. A few of them, 306. 0, 196. None of them. Well, you better get some new friends and family. Almost none of them, 193. Most, 38. See the big difference there? Most only 38. Back in the day, everybody listened to the show. Back in the day when the show was like fun and we had, instead of me sitting here reading crap for 4 hours every day. But you know what? Too bad. We still get paid, right?
Yes, we do.
Pretty good scam. Most 38, some 19. That was George's idea. We got to put some on there because it's really doing well. All of them 17. All of them. That's the kind of family we like. I hate this poll. Only 12, 1.5%. And only my enemies listen. Only 11.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Other stations give you money. Other stations give you cars. But when times are tough, this station gives you what counts. Because this station is going to give you a job. A job in radio. A job at this station. A job as our new morning disc jockey. Morning Drive. That's right. We're going to toss our morning guy out on his butt. And he doesn't even know it. He's not even listening. We told him to play this promo, and he played it like a moron. A moron. So his loss is your gain. Just be listening. And when you hear this sound, be the 10th caller. And come Monday morning, you're on the air.
Winner will assume all current responsibilities of morning drive personality at a substantially reduced salary in addition to responsibilities of all janitorial, clerical, and maintenance staff.
The guy who's on is out. You are in. Keep listening to win.
It's 11:03. Oh, boy, I just took a swig of soda just when that thing abruptly ended. That was not good. 810 votes on the poll. That's, okay, it's not great. I'll tell you what else isn't good, and I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show.
What's that?
2 U.S. soldiers and a Marine were killed in Iraq, the U.S. military said today, bringing the number of Americans who died in the country so far this month, and today's only the 10th of the month, by the way, to 23. Not as bloody as last month so far, but we got a long way to go. That's the bad news about that. Very bad. Democrats are set to subpoena. The new majority is expected to hold hearings on military spending and the Iraq War. Just for starters, says the L.A. Times. How do you like that?
Good.
All the hearings all the time. Let's drag their ass in there. Let's drag them through it. All these criminals, all these butchers, these murderers, these liars.
I'm hearing that.
These derelicts. Representative Ike Skelton knows what he'll do in one of his first acts as chairman of the Armed Services Committee in the Democratic-led House. Resurrect the subcommittee on oversight and investigations. The panel was disbanded by the Republicans after they won control of Congress in '94. Now Skelton, Democrat of Missouri, intends to use it as a forum to probe Pentagon spending and the Bush administration's conduct of the Iraq War. It's been 12 years since Democrats were in control of both the House and the Senate, but they're looking to make up for lost time and, in some cases, make the Bush administration and its business allies sweat their asses off. They're going to be sweating to the oldies. That's what we're playing today, by the way, oldies. Like that. That exciting?
Really?
No, not that one.
Oh.
I said like that.
Nothing's like that one.
With control of every committee in Congress starting in January, the new majority will inherit broad powers to subpoena and investigate, and that's expected to translate into wide-ranging and contentious hearings. Good. Stick it to them, man. The agenda is likely to be dominated by the Iraq War, but could also include probes into the Bush administration's warrantless surveillance, environmental policies, and new prescription drug program for seniors. Industries such as oil companies could also come under closer scrutiny. The American people send a clear message that they don't want a rubber stamp Congress that simply signs off on the president's agenda, said Representative John Conyers of Michigan, who's in line to become chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. He's going to give them real Soros, man. Instead, they voted for a new direction for America, he said, and a real check and balance against governmental overreaching. Conyers and other Democrats say that sort of scrutiny has been noticeably absent over the last 6 years. Democrats accuse Republicans of being complicit, as Bush has led the nation into an unwinnable war and adopted economic policies that favor the rich and big business. Oh, what a surprise that a Republican president would favor big business, huh? What did I say a long time ago?
Back
in 2004, before those elections, I said, unless you're either very, very rich or a religious nut or both of the above, which is certainly possible, unless you can't possibly vote for Bush. Remember I said that?
Yeah, you did. What do you know?
But a lot of schleppers did. Under Republican control, Congress did subpoena baseball players to discuss steroid use and summon oil industry executives to justify record profits at a time of high gasoline prices. Yeah, that was very important for what's going on in the world today is subpoenaing those baseball players so that Ileana Rosanna Dana could sit there and say, "Oh, Raffy, you're such a wonderful credit to our community, and Jose, don't do it again. And how's Ileana doing?" Your people, man, it's just, it's very sad.
What can I say?
What we have to be wary of, and the American people will be wary of, is a subpoena bazaar here on Capitol Hill, and the government by investigation by Democrats, said Kevin Madden, a spokesman for House Majority Leader John Boehner, a real bonehead. But even some scholarly folks say recent GOP oversight has been lax. Folks. Yeah, like Bush always says about the evildoers, well, we have to find these folks.
They're folks.
He's kind of a folksy guy, you know. This could be remembered as a historically unique period in which administration got immunity from Congress to engage in errors with impunity, said Charles Tiefer, University of Baltimore law professor and former House counsel. Their leader, Nancy Pelosi, the Democrats, has also ruled some investigations out of bounds. Conyers has wanted Congress to determine whether there are grounds to impeach Bush, but Pelosi said that will not happen. And even Howie Dean says that ain't going to happen. We'll get to that. How do you like that? Isn't that pathetic?
I don't like that.
They should be plotting on that right now, like on Family Feud. You know, when they all get down on their knees and they all hunker around there and blah, 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 like that. They're plotting and planning. That's what they ought to be doing, is impeachment hearings right now. Thousands and thousands of dead people, almost 3,000 dead Americans and allies, you know, those countries, the nations of the willing, like Azerbaijan, and 150 to 1,000 or more dead Iraqis. And this butcher got us into it all based on a pack of lies. And I'll tell you who else they ought to drag in there is that sellout freaking Colin Powell. They ought to drag his damn ass in there, too.
That's right.
Holding up that vile performance in front of the UN. And Saddam Hussein's got, I'll tell you what Saddam Hussein's got, okay? A bad beard and a mustache. Your mama. 820 votes on the poll. I just keep you posted on that. Once we get to 1,000, I'm going to get off of that, because they don't like that.
I doubt it.
You doubt what?
That you're going to get off of that.
I'll get off of it. I won't even out until the end of the show. What's the point? It's not the kind of a poll. It's not like an opinion poll. It's just, you know.
Survey.
Like how long is your middle finger? Very long, short, you know, like that. Here, take a look at this one.
It's median.
Maureen Dowd, a come-to-daddy moment, writes Maureen the Queen in the New York Times. Poppy Bush and James Baker gave Sonny the presidency to play with, and he broke it, so now they're taking it back. They are dragging W away from those reckless older guys who have been such a bad influence and getting him some new minders who are a lot more practical. In a scene that might be called Murder on the Oval Express, Rummy turned up dead with so many knives in him that it's impossible to say who actually finished off the old man, billed as Washington's most skilled infighter. Poppy, Scowcroft, Baker, Laura, Condi, the Silver Fox, retired generals, serving generals, future generals, troops returning to Iraq for the umpteenth time without a decent strategy, Democrats, Republicans, Jew Lieberman? Question mark. The defense chief got hung out to dry before Saddam got hung. The president and Karl Rove, underestimating the public's hunger for change or overestimating the loyalty of a fed-up base, did not ice Rummy in time to save the Senate from teetering Democratic. But once Sonny managed to heedlessly dynamite the Republican majority, as well as the Middle East, the Atlantic Alliance, and the U.S. Army, then Bush, Inc., the family firm that snatched the presidency for W in 2000, had to step in. Two trusted members of the Bush 41 War Council, Mr. Baker and Robert Gates, have been dispatched to discipline the delinquent juvenile and extricate him from the mother of all messes. Mr. Gates, already on Baker's How Do We Get Sonny Out of Deep Doo-Doo in Iraq study group, left his job protecting 41's papers at Texas A&M to return to Washington and pry the fingers of Poppy's old nemesis Rummy off the Pentagon. They had to bring in someone from the old gang, said someone from the old gang. This has to make Junior uneasy. With Bob, the door is open again to 41 and Baker and Brent. W had no choice but to make an Oedipal U-turn. He couldn't let Nancy Pelosi subpoena the cranky Rummy for hearings on Iraq. He's not exactly Mr. Charming or Mr. Truthful, and he'd be on TV saying something stupid, said a Bush 41 official. Bob can just go up to the Hill and say, I don't know, I wasn't there when that happened. Bob Gates, friends say, had been worried about the belligerent, arrogant, ideological style of Rummy and Cheney from the start. He fretted at the way W's so-called foreign policy dream team, including his old staffer and fellow Soviet expert Condi, made it up as they went along, even though that had been their complaint about the Clinton foreign policy team. A real politic advocate like his mentor, General Scowcroft, he was critical of a linear, moralizing style that disdained nuance, demoted diplomacy, and inflated villains. In 2004, he publicly questioned the administration's approach to Iran. While Vice went off to a corner to lick his wounds, W was forced to do his best imitation of his dad yesterday, talking about bipartisan outreach, people have spoken, blah, 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 after he'd been out on the trail saying that electing Democrats would mean that the terrorists win and America loses. I share a large part of the responsibility for the thumping of Republicans, he told reporters. Actually, he gets full responsibility. W stopped talking about democracy as a standard of success in Iraq. Yesterday, he said that Iraq had to govern itself, sustain itself, and defend itself. He was asked if his surprise at the election results showed he was out of touch with Americans. I thought when it was all said and done, he replied, the American people would understand the importance of taxes and the importance of security. So it was just that the American people were too dumb to understand? W also managed to bash Vietnam veterans, saying that this war isn't similar because there's a volunteer army, so the troops understand the consequences of Iraq and the global war on terror. Is that why W stayed out of Vietnam, because he understood it? And Ashen Rummy was also condescending during his uncomfortable tableau with W and Bob Gates in the Oval Office, implying that he was dumped because Americans just didn't comprehend what was going on in Iraq. Actually, Rummy, we get it. You don't get it. Baker's no fool, a Bush 41 official said. He wasn't going to go out there with a plan for Iraq and have Rummy shoot it down. He wanted a receptive audience. Everyone had to be on the same page before the plan is unveiled. They don't call him the Velvet Hammer for nothing. R.I.P. Rummy, says Maureen Dowd. Rest in pieces. How do you like that, Seth Greenberg?
You go.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Right.
Rub that on your bald spot, you silly goose, you. So when's Butch Davis coming back to UM? Now, isn't Opper got him on today, I think?
Yes, he does.
I heard them. He does? I heard them mumbling something about that this morning by Butch Divas. He's coming back. Real Yahoo, man. Real Yahoo. Woo!
Yeah.
He puts the red in redneck, Butch Divas. 835 votes on a poll. Like I said, I'll get off of that once we get to 1,000, so you better hop on that thing and then I'll just forget about it. Right? Isn't that the way to do it? Tell them what the poll is and encourage them to vote and then just...
Forget about it.
Right.
The biggest names.
Smash that thing.
Thank you. Kornheiser is a complete bust. Really? Tell me what he brings. The quick shot? Is he supposed to be Mr. Everyman who comments like you and I would if we were watching the game? And let me remind everybody, once again, television is for pretty people. Pretty people are on TV.
The Mad Dog, Jim Mandish, Sports Radio 560, QAM.
It's Fatwa Friday, you bastards.
The federal government just learned about those people today.
Under withering criticism from both parties, Brown offered no apology and mostly blamed others for the debacle that cost hundreds of lives.
Mike Brown, there's no one left to blame. I said, Brownie, you're the government shame. I said, Brownie, 'cause your career's up in flame. There's no one I know who's more lame. George Bush, you'd better make him shut up before he says it was you who messed up. You can defend him, but I'm sure you will find many think that he should do time. He's way too dumb to run the FEMA. Some people died when he ran FEMA. Now that everyone knows that your leadership blows, you can go back to your horse shows.
Today, both Republicans and Democrats criticize the fact that Brown is still on the federal payroll. That may be because as long as he remains an administration official, his testimony must be cleared by the White House.
Well, maybe. 11:19 at 560 WQAM. He was just horsing around, old Brownie Brown, wasn't he?
All the time.
Remember the night they drove old Dixie down?
Mm-hmm.
That was Joan Baez, wasn't it?
I'm looking. I don't have it.
You don't have what? Don't have Joe Baez? How about we got this?
Yeah, we do.
Daniel Quayle was his name, and he turned off his favorite cartoon.
Dan Quayle, what does that tell you, man? George Bush, Dan Quayle, some of the dumbest people in history. They've been the president, vice president. They've been like they had their finger on the button, one thumb in their
rectum.
Wow. Pretty scary, you know what?
Yeah.
People just want to be left alone. That's all. Just leave us alone. Don't set off too many bombs and just cut the crap. The group Al-Qaeda in Iraq claimed in a new audio tape today to have mobilized 12,000 fighters in the war-torn country. The Al-Qaeda army has 12,000 fighters in Iraq, and they have vowed to die for God's sake, said group leader Abu Hazma al-Munajir. Whatever the hell his name is, an audio tape made available on militant websites. Also known as Abu Ayyub al-Masri, al-Mujahir became leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq after Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was killed by the U.S. military in June. There's a lot of Abus and Musabs and whatever. Remember Ahab the Arab by Ray Stevens?
Yes,
I bet you got that in there.
I have that too.
Ahmadinejad?
Right.
Describing George W. Bush as the most stupid president in U.S. history, the Al-Qaeda leader reached out to the Muslim world and said his group was winning faster than expected in Iraq. The most stupid president in U.S. history. Ray Stevens. Hop on your camel, Ray, and get the hell out of town. Get lost in the desert, please.
Oi!
And as soon as it's going to start, he chops it off. Relentless little bastard that he is. He knows I'm going to nail it like a champion, man. And so as a result, just to make me look bad like a doddering old fool, I know the real reason you had lunch with Joe Biden yesterday. Don't we know it, Josh?
Plotting your demise.
He's plotting and planning.
He's talking behind your back again.
That's right. Well, he's got a lot of practice. A lot of practice doing that is what I'm hearing. That's what I've been told.
That's right.
857 votes on the poll. They're creeping and crawling. I'm not going to read it again until we get to 1,000. Then I'll read it once more and I'll shut up about it. Maybe we'll stop doing the poll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right.
What?
You love the poll.
Get out of here. You starting to get this personal again? Only some polls.
I see.
Some are better than others, believe you me. Trust me when I tell you, I'm the expert. I've made a life study, well, at least in many years. 8:57 on that poll, so hop on there and make up an answer. So we get to 1,000 so I can shut up about it already. Let's get rid of the poll. In fact, you know something? That's a poll idea for Monday.
What is that?
Should we get rid of the polls?
Good idea.
You don't like that idea?
No, it's a good poll.
I think it's a stellar idea. Should we Schmidt-can the polls? And then, of course, the choices could be just stop doing them altogether or put them on hiatus, take a few months off, wait till George is on again, then start the poll up again so he has to come up with a poll idea. Yeah, that's called getting even.
Bad idea.
Is Italy wedding Mission Impossible for Cruise? ? We got to have one of these Tomcat or Brangelina stories or a Britney story, you know. Oh, you know what they're calling K-Fed now?
K-Fed-X?
Yeah, isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Bracciano, Italy. A romantic Italian wedding for Hollywood couple Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes might be a Mission Impossible, according to local officials. The priest with jurisdiction over the dreamy lakeside castle, tipped as the chosen location for the wedding, says his parish won't marry Cruise, and the mayor says she can't because the couple haven't done the official paperwork. How do you like that? Maybe they can bring in the paparazzi. The small Italian town of Bracciano has been swimming with picture-snapping paparazzi since Il Messaggero newspaper reported that Castello Ortolacci in the town was chosen by the couple for their wedding later this month. But rules of the local bureaucracy and the Roman Catholic Church appear to be a lot tougher than any of the macho super-secret spies Cruise's character regularly defeats in Mission Impossible movies. Mayor Patrizia Vecchione told Reuters she would like the wedding to take place, but that it was unlikely any celebration would be blessed with state recognition, given that the couple haven't provided the needed documents. I don't think it'll be legal, she said. On an Italian level, there are papers and documents that we certainly don't have for any wedding. So maybe there was never going to be any wedding, you know? Just, a pretense of a wedding, just like a pretense of a marriage and a pretense of a whatever. Oh, not Joan Baez. He actually found it. Yep.
Virgil Kane is my name, and I drove on the Danville train.
Boy, Virgil sure has a feminine voice.
So much cavalry came and tore up the tracks again.
Are you picking on Joni again? Poor Joan Baez. Enough of that already, okay? What do you know about the war in Vietnam and all those protest songs? Which that wasn't one of them. But
I saw that movie.
What is that song about the night they drove old Dixie down? What is that?
Isn't it about the Confederate War?
Of course, the Confederate War or the Civil War?
The
Confederate War, my ass.
Betwixt the states.
Oh. Speaking of gay, Republican National Committee Chairman Ken Mehlman announced he's going to step down at the end of the year. Thank God, okay? Every time he opens up his mouth real wide, I start getting visions. You know, like practice makes perfect. The White House is already searching for a replacement or replacements to lead the party into the 2008 presidential campaign cycle. Two sources, speaking on condition of anonymity, of course, because he might out them, said Mehlman has made clear to close associates for some time he was likely to leave after these 2006 elections, and that there is no dissatisfaction with his performance in the midterm cycle. Heck of a job, Brownie Hound. One name that's just come up as a possible replacement is outgoing Maryland Lieutenant Governor Michael Steele, who just lost the U.S. Senate race. You know, on election night, the coverage, it was really amusing to show you how some people in the media bend over backward. All of them were doing the same thing. Well, he ran a great campaign because he didn't say anything, Michael Steele.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they all kept saying. He ran a great campaign about nothing. He didn't say anything, so that's why it was great. He still lost. One of the sources said a more likely scenario is for Steele to join the Bush administration in another capacity after the first of the year when a few members of the Bush cabinet and other senior officials are expected to leave. One scenario under discussion should Mehlman leave, according to the two of the sources, is to split the RNC leadership duties, a model both parties have used at times in the past. Under this approach, a party operative will be brought in to run day-to-day affairs, and a prominent Republican, most likely a former office holder, will be named general chairman of the fascist party. They're on the way out. They're done. The experiment with fascism didn't go over really big. Even some of the dumbest of the dumb in Yahoo states. That was the thing that was really amazing. In Yahoo states like Virginia and Montana, with all due respect to you, and Missouri. Missouri.
Told you they could do it there in Montana. They often have.
It burns. 874 votes on the poll, and I sure as hell wish you'd stop talking about it.
The biggest names, the best talent. This
I say get rid of it. I'm out of poll
Sports
idea.
Radio 560 QAM.
From 77 WABC. Go, go, go! Alright. Oh, I just wanna be the Taliban. Put some planes up in the air. Bomb Afghanistan. Oh, let me beat. Oh, let him beat. The Taliban. Really don't like a kind of enough. Think I've had enough. Just wanna find the hideout of Osama bin Laden and blow it up. Oh, just wanna be the Taliban. While I watch those refugees run to Pakistan. Oh, let me beat. Oh, let him beat. The Taliban. I just wanna be all those terrorists. Have some fun by killing Muslim fundamentalists. So let me beat, oh let him beat the Taliban. Don't really like Al Qaeda enough. I tell you I've had enough. I wanna find the hideout of Osama bin Laden and blow it up. Oh, just wanna be the Taliban. Put some planes up in the air. Bomb Afghanistan. Oh, let me beat. Oh, let him beat. The Taliban. Oh, let me beat. Oh, let him beat. The Taliban. Oh, let me beat. Oh, let him beat the Taliban. I just want to beat the Taliban.
11:33 at 27 on noon at 560 WQAM. Mad Dog from Hooters and Pompano with 2. The Power Hour with the Humper and the Mad Dog together 4 to 5. The Humper solo, maybe with Seth Greenberg at 5 o'clock. And then we have just to kill a half an hour in there, we got opening tip with Bimbo Cole, so I'm assuming that the Heat are playing tonight, right? If it's opening tip.
I believe so, yeah.
Do we have that game?
No.
We got the Panther game, though. Panthers and the Sabres in Buffalo. Oh, man, Geldy's in Buffalo, and well-deserved. A good place for him, if ever there was. So George had a big lunch with our general manager, Joe Bell, yesterday, who said, like that, nothing. George said it was a free lunch.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he absolutely went spastic and spilled his guts about this, bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop, and Joe said, Isn't that what he said?
Pretty much, that's a quote.
He said, what's that got to do with sports, and what's it got to do with my boy Clarence? Okay, Clarence is calling the shots, just remember that. I mean, we're just a thorn in the side of the sports empire. I'm sure that Bocamper will tell you that when you go to see him at Charhut.
Solo una spina?
Solo una spina. Join Kim Bocamper noon to 1. That's coming up very soon, as a matter of fact. He's probably on his way over there right now. I like you a lot, Kim. Not your show that much, but we like you. Listen, nothing is perfect, okay? It would be something if I said he was a big klutz or something like that. He's a good guy, you know. I mean, not all big, goofy guys are bad guys. And aren't they honoring the Killer Bees at the Dolphin game? Aren't they this Sunday?
Yeah.
That's what I heard them say. Baumhauer, Bocamper, Betters. Who's the other one?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? How's A.J. Dewey doing? Well, I sure liked A.J. Dewey. I was a Dolphin fan back in those days. That might come as a shock to you, Josh. Until I got totally turned off by the whole...
No. Until the Patriots started winning, you know.
No, the Patriots weren't winning when I became a Patriot fan, and Tom Brady wasn't even on the radar screen. Don't give me the song and the dance again, Mr. Bucks fan, Mr. Hotshot, because he lived in Brandon for 5 minutes, and he used to go to that big shopping mall over there. What is that shopping mall?
I believe it's the Brandon Town Center.
Wow. Woo! Man, oh man, that is heavy-duty stuff. That's a good reason to stop. You know something? The only reason to go in that part of the state is to go through with a drive-through at Crystal. Or maybe Steak and Shake.
There's a Crystal down here.
Yeah, we found that out a long time ago. There's one isolated Crystal. Where is it, like on Powerline somewhere? It's in Sunrise?
On Sunrise Boulevard.
Wow. On Sunrise Boulevard? Way east, though, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Oh. Well, that's not in my territory. There's a Crystal in South Florida? I can't believe it. Well, we already knew that, but... See, there we go with the food again. Now, did you guys eat... oh, that's right. It's almost time for the ice cream and good weenies coming in. Right?
We hope.
What time is that showing up? What do you mean you hope?
Don't know.
Well, the Duffmeister's involved in that. Hey, Duffo.
You fairy.
What?
He's never let us down. Well, not recently, anyway.
No, Josh said Duff lets him down when he's finished. 896 votes on that poll. So once we get to 1,000, like I said, I'll give you that result, and then you're on your own. I don't want to deal with these polls. I'm tired of polls, man. You believe that? At least the ones on our website. Of course, that would be bad for the website. It would cut way down the response, wouldn't it? And then Eric wouldn't make those zillions of dollars. He doesn't make any money off that. I bet you don't make 50 cents off that website. You know, he puts it's a labor of love.
That's right.
And he keeps sending me all these bills for that damn bandwidth on there, you know. Why don't we just disband the website? We're doing pretty well anyway. Huh?
Whoa.
How about being one of the boys in the disband? Just a joke, Eric. Okay, we could never live without our website. Because then Josh wouldn't be able to put all those great stories on there. On the Neil Rogers newspaper. Like he sometimes does, like 9:15, 9:30 in the morning. Now, you haven't done that in a long time, so it was overdue. Back in the day, he used to do that all the time, very regular. You know, I'd come in the morning, he'd be. I could always tell because the stories weren't up there yet.
Yeah, he was busier in those days.
Although he was a lot busier. He was courting and snorting and whatever he was doing. But now that he's got his regular piece, he's and now of course he's not boozing it up quite so much. Although I don't believe that. The British Guardian says the forging of a cohesive domestic reform agenda will be complicated by the fact that several of the new intake of Democrats in the Congress are socially conservative and in favor of policies traditionally associated with the Republicans they ousted. In fact, the headline says, pro-gun, anti-abortion, and fiscally conservative meet the neo-Dems. Some of them are pro-guns, while others are anti-abortion. Some oppose stem cell research using human embryos, and many are on the wing of the Democratic Party that believes in fiscal rectitude and tight control on public spending.
Rectum.
The conservative Democrats, or New Democrats as they're sometimes called, were disproportionately represented in the most highly contested races against Republicans and are likely to form a substantial bloc within the new members. Heath Schuler. You know, I saw that name, Heath Schuler, and so I looked up Win Schuler. I Googled it to see if he's still alive. He died a long time ago. You know, Win Schuler's restaurants in Michigan, like in Marshall, Michigan, where I used to do a show called Luncheon at Schuler's.
No.
And they have that. They still sell that Schuler bar cheese. You ever go to a restaurant where they sell that bar cheese? You know, they bring you a crock to the table?
No.
That cheddar in a crock, and like you smear your crackers and put it on the bread? Oh, man. That is to die for. They sell it by the crock. Schuler's bar cheese. Anyway, Heath Schuler, former American football celebrity, now holds a... Heath Schuler, didn't he play for the Redskins, Josh? Quarterback.
Yes.
And as I recall, a really good-looking kid, too. Anyway, what? Hey, there's certain things that you remember in life, okay? Certain things that stand out in your mind. You say, hey, look at that. He looks pretty good. Heath Schuler, former American football celebrity who now holds a House of Representatives seat in North Carolina, is representative of the group. He's a Democrat, no less. He has an evangelical Christian background, is on the right of the argument of many social issues like abortion. Well, I bring him around. Now, he's old and ugly now. Democratic Party leaders deny that they had an official strategy to plant right-wing candidates in vulnerable Republican seats as a way of winning other voters. But Rahm Emanuel, chairman of the campaign to win back the House, has said that when they searched for candidates with the best hopes of winning, they ended up with several with a moderate approach. As a group, they are moderate in temperament and reformers in spirit. That's not the experience of Mr. Schuler, who told local newspapers he'd been reluctant to stand for election, but was strong-armed into it by Mr. Emanuel. Rahm was tougher than any of the college coaches who were calling me when I was in high school. He said none of the coaches could hold a candle to Rahm Emanuel as a recruiter. They might hold a candle to his rectum, let a fire under him. Heath Schuler. Yeah, he was number 5, I think, right? Isn't that his uniform number?
Yeah, I think so.
See, you don't mess with me when it comes to good-looking guys in sports. I may not pay that much attention to me. Who cares about the Redskins, you know? Especially with that born-again Joe Gibbs back again. Boy, he gives me a pain where I sit. Although I was sure glad to see them squeak by the Cowboys. What is it about the Cowboys that we hate? Is it T.O.'s in it?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's something beyond that. You know, they had their day and they won 1 billion championships and, and what's his name used to stand on the sideline with his boring hat, Tom Landry and the whole deal. I'll tell you, Danny White looked pretty good. The number of conservative Democrats among the 28 who wrestled House seats from Republican incumbents has yet to emerge, but with 27 of the 40 candidates in the most contested seats falling into this category, although he was no Alexei Ponikarovsky, I'll tell you that. But with 27 of the 40 candidates in the most contested seats falling into this category, the figure could be substantial. They'll join an already sizable caucus within the Democrats in Congress who are on the right of the party and will be encouraged to line up formally with the 2 existing subgroups, the New Democrats and the Blue Dog Coalition. The Blue Dog Coalition, what the hell is that? You ever hear that?
No.
It was formed in 1995 largely among Southern Democrats and advocates of a balanced budget and moderate to conservative social policies. It has actively put forward candidates in elections since 1998 known as Blue Pups. How do you like that? And it goes on, bada beep, bada boop, bada bop. Mr. Schuler did this, and that Schuler bar cheese, man. I'm having a real problem with food, although I did lose almost a pound on the scale since yesterday. Aren't you proud?
I am proud.
Especially even after eating all that Chinese. See, Chinese isn't bad. Now, if you notice one thing about Chinese, I was sitting on the throne this morning, at great length, by the way.
Me too.
And if you notice one thing the Chinese don't eat, you'll never find it on any item in a menu in a Chinese restaurant, is cheese.
That's a good point. I'm thinking.
I guess there's one CH already in Chinese, although it rhymes with cheese. Wouldn't it be something to find some Chinese cheese?
I wonder where that is.
I think I know where I could find some.
I broke in through her bedroom window at 5 a.m. to dip my wig. And what I knew was criminal, but that ain't nothing new if you play for the fish. I guess my girlfriend forgot to tell me that another bitch was someone else's wife. Oh man, her early husband was mean and healthy, and I found out when it chased me with a knife. Why didn't that bitch tell me? It was too dark to see. She be in bed with her husband, and that scares the piss out of me. He don't feel me now.
Oh, Heath Soder's got a really hot wife, by the way, if you want to Google him on Wikipedia. I just mentioned that in passing.
It's all right.
Governor honors Florida's last surviving World War I veteran, 111 years of age, in Bradenton. Bradenton, which isn't too far from Brandon, which isn't too far from Sarasota, which isn't too far from your mama. Guess what this guy's name is? Ernest Charles, and his last name is spelled P-U-S-E-Y.
I see.
Pusey. 111
Mm-hmm.
years old, and I wonder if he's kin to the old harness driver from Yonkers and Roosevelt, whose name I think was Marcel Pusey. 111 years old, and Natalie attired in a dress shirt and light blue cardigan, smiled slightly when fat-ass Governor Jeb Bush walked in his trailer Friday and gave him a medal for helping him win World War I. Pusey, his friends call him Ernie. Wasn't feeling too talkative, but seemed to enjoy the hubbub surrounding the awarding of his WW1 Victory Medal and a visit from the fat-ass governor on the day before Veterans Day. On the day we're celebrating Veterans Day. Oh, look at this. Here's a picture of all this food. There's an ad for Publix in the middle of the story, and there's all this food on here. Oh. What's with the food stuff lately, man? Is your stuff there yet?
No.
Uh-oh. What time's it supposed to be there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone out there is a murderer. That rejoin, now that one we could play all day because that one it just sends me right to the toilet.
Oh, it's not supposed to be funny.
I know, but it is. Well, I mean, it's not funny that somebody got murdered, but there are a lot of people get murdered, and it's just, if they're not football players on this station, we go, not only don't we get excited about it, we don't care, okay? If you get murdered out there and you're not a jock, we don't care. So, just in case, I'd be wearing a jock strap every day, just in case you get murdered, and then we can say, well, at least the guy was wearing a jock strap at the moment of his death. It looks pretty good, doesn't it, Bush said, placing the glass-encased medal on the table next to Pusey's recliner. Pusey's indeed special. He's one of just 15 living World War I veterans out of nearly 5 million who served, and the only one in Florida. He was in the U.S. Navy 1917 to 1919 aboard the battleship. I don't think I'd want to live to 111, you know? Would you?
Depends on how I'm doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if I could be 111 and still be like I am right now, spry and fat and happy, that would be fine. Tell Joe, by the way, I'm very happy and to quit bugging me. It sounds like he's not happy that I'm happy.
I think he's happy that you're happy.
He's like my mother. Anyway, Pusey was in the U.S. Navy 17 to 19 aboard the battleship USS Wyoming, which spent much of the war patrolling the sea lanes around the British Isles. He was hired at General Motors in 1926, worked for the company in Flint, Michigan for 32 years, and now General Motors' oldest living retiree. He moved to Florida in 1960. He's lived in the same trailer park for more than 40 years. You go, Ernie, whatever his name is. What's his name? Pusey. Pusey told Bush he doesn't feel too good some days and he has trouble getting around, but he remembers his time on that battleship nearly 90 years ago, especially stopping at different cities out there, he said. A black and white photo of the ship hangs on the wall in his living room near a framed letter of congratulations he received on his birthday in April from President Bush, the fat-ass governor's older brother, of course. The most amazing thing about Ernie is when I see him come home from church, get out of the car and walk in the house by himself, said Jim Johns, who lives across the street. It tells you something about his soul. The man just glows. He glows.
Maybe
Bush
he's
said Pusey didn't... What?
Never mind.
He said Pusey didn't recall getting a medal after the war and nobody could find any evidence that he had, so giving it to him for Veterans Day seemed fitting. Ernie Pusey is 111 years old. He's the oldest Floridian, the third oldest American, the fifth oldest in the world, the oldest surviving WW1 veteran, and it's an honor to be able to give him his World War I medal, Fat-Ass Bush said. The first step was actually finding a World War I victory medal, since it's not like the U.S. government has them lying around anymore. Rocky McPherson. I wonder if he's akin to Rocky Raccoon. Rocky McPherson, executive director of the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs, got on the case, finally tracked one of the medals down in a shop in Quantico, Virginia. Last year, there were 4 WW1 veterans in Florida, McPherson said, but 2 have died, 1 moved to Alabama. So Pusey deserves all the fuss. Make a big fuss about Pusey. Most guys do. I think he's a pretty happy gentleman. He looks pretty good, McPherson said. His mind is sharp. Sharp as a tack. Just like my mind, sharp as a matzo ball. Pusey, careful. Whatever the hell his name is, okay? When you get to be 111, people can call you whatever they want. What do you care? He is a full-time caretaker, and besides going to church, he's like stepping out for a scallop dinner every Sunday. Woo! I do like scallops, by the way. And those aren't no carbs. They're good for you.
It's the only seafood I don't like.
You don't like scallops?
I don't
Why is
like
that?
scallops. The texture, they're kind of gritty.
Get out of here. Scallops are great. You like scallops, Josh?
They have no taste, really, to me. They're just bland.
Anyway, he's tried nursing homes a few times. He prefers living in his trailer. It's pretty amazing, Fat-Ass Bush said. He's an inspiration to us all, said your fat-ass governor, who luckily, thank God for us, will be gone in a couple of months. Good. And now they're rumbling again about, Bush would be a great candidate for president, Jeb. Yeah. Jebby says we got it. Jebby says we got it. Don't forget, Bo Camper's going to be showing up. He's probably there right now already at Chair Hut in Pembroke Pines. That's on Taft, just east of Flamingo. Let's see, I'm trying to think of where that one is. It's on Taft. Oh, I know exactly where that one is. You know where that one is?
No.
Noon to 1, Bo Camper's going to be there. He'll go there and have lunch with Kimbo, okay? Throw him a few scraps. He'll eat them all. You don't get to stay that huge as he is without consuming enormous quantities of food. There we go on the food jag again. It's the old fag on the food jag. Wednesday night on the CNN program during its live airing at 9 p.m., Larry King, somebody faxed this in, by the way. Also, somebody says, the article below is in reference to Bill Maher talking about Ken Mehlman, which editor and publisher doesn't have the balls to write his name in the article. Also, a suggestion for your poll, says the faxer. Just do it once a week and start it on Friday immediately after the show so that on Monday you can be talking about how you have 2,000 votes on the poll. Or at least by Tuesday or Wednesday, anyway. On Wednesday, and I did see a second or two of that when I saw that he had twerpy Bill Maher on there, I switched that dial immediately. Larry King pressed Bill Maher for names when the comedian suggested, after ripping anti-gay attitudes among Republicans, that several top GOP insiders were gay. Did you look up Heath Schuler, by the way? Did you see his very hot-looking wife? I think that's his wife. I don't know. Maher seemed reluctant, but eventually coughed up the name of a prominent GOP party leader. He said he wasn't worried about getting sued because others had done the same before him. End of story? Not quite. That portion of the interview was quickly remarked on at various blogs, and John Aravosis of the popular liberal blog America Blog put up a video of same on YouTube. The name of the outed Republican appeared in CNN's transcript of the King show. Then, yesterday morning, someone tipped Aravosis to the fact that the exchange between King and Maher had been edited to delete the outing in the rebroadcast of the King show. Also in CNN's online video, but the original was still airing at YouTube. So we put 2 videos up together for comparison. This drew much traffic and chatter at other sites. By mid-afternoon yesterday, however, Aravosis reported that YouTube, responding to CNN's demand, had pulled the original video and sent him and presumably others what he regarded as a cease and desist order, citing copyright infringement. Yeah, copyright infringed my ass. Aravosis, a lawyer, said he would defy it and pointed out the video was still running at the popular Huffington Post blog. He added that he intended to cut back his excerpts to about 10 seconds. I have a law degree from Georgetown. I know intellectual property laws that concerns journalism, he wrote. You can post an 8 to 10-second video clip as fair use for news purposes, and that's what I plan to do. And if CNN and Google try to close down my YouTube account for using an 8 to 10-second snippet for news purposes, they're going to have serious problems, he said. You go, John. How do you like that? So I guess Bill Maher outed Ken Mehlman, as if, this is the same thing like with Charlie Crist. Mm-hmm. I guess it was okay for Miss Foley because the transcripts of those salacious emails got out, When in doubt, they got out. But when it comes to certain other queens like Charlie Crist and Ken Mehlman and Miss Fudge and people like that, well, mum's the word, Cover it up. Yeah, cover that thing up, Miss Fudge. 940 on the poll, man. 940. Remember that was really a great radio station when I used to work on it?
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560.
When it really had callers like WINZ.
This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
All right. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. 3355445. That thing on your ear, it looks so dumb. Wearing that thing looks like it hurts. It's the same size as a garage door opener. I haven't seen one that looks good yet. And how many calls can one guy get? Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. How pretentious. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. Wearing that earpiece is so jive. You think you're the coolest dude alive. Trying to be on the cutting edge with a calculator strapped against your head. Using it in the car so your hands are free. Do it all with big finger and drive it to a tree. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. Go away now. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on.
Come on to at 560 WQM. Happy Friday. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Yamama. Don't forget, Bo Camper's at Charhout right now from now to 1 o'clock, okay?
Okay.
And Geldy's in Buffalo eating them buffalo wings, chicken wings. I don't know what the big deal, the big simus is with chicken wings. I guess your food didn't get there yet, huh?
No, but something else did.
What's that?
Match Point.
Get out of there.
Well, it's unusual because it didn't come in it's not like an envelope, an Amazon kind of an envelope. It looks like it was sent by people. It must be a third party that...
right, that's correct. Well, aren't you familiar with the fact that Amazon has a lot of stuff on it?
Of course I am. I do it often. Well,
there you go.
Third-party orders. But,
so it wasn't sent
Thank you, Lloyd and Leslie. It showed up here in a handwritten envelope, a little handmade jobby. No invoice.
I am so excited, man. I'm going to squeeze my kneecap right now. Ooh, man, not that hard. I'm serious. You'll love it.
Be savoring this over the weekend.
And when you're done, pass it along to Josh there. Of course, he probably won't have time. He'll be busy putting up lots and lots of stories.
I'll try to keep it clean for you, Josh.
Yeah, don't be doing nothing on it now, okay? So you. Yeah, there's people reading all the stories on there. So what's the big simus you got on there late? Haven't you ever had anybody, a delivery boy, leave the newspaper late in the morning? Sure. No?
Yeah.
So what's the big deal? And life goes on, okay? In addition to which, that gives you something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Although, in those papers there, oh, I sure wish for the days of the old Hollywood Sun-Tatler. Remember that newspaper? No, you weren't in Hollywood then. What a piece of crap that was. The Hollywood Sun-Tatler. Man, I think Tom Jicka did the dog track selections for the Hollywood Sun-Tatler, and I did the harness racing selections for the Miami News. And then Tommy did the dog track selections for the Miami News. It's really interesting that every newspaper I ever was involved with, anyway, they all went out of business, just like a lot of radio stations I worked at. Speaking of Marshall, Michigan, WMRR in Marshall, Michigan, home of Win Schuler. Although that show I was talking about, Luncheon at Schuler's, that was on WALM in Albion, Michigan. It's time for Luncheon at Schuler's. And you know what the show consisted of? It was like a 15-minute show, and it was organ music, and they had like a live organist. His name, he was an old guy. His name was Gay Potter. Of course, back in that day, I mean, nobody knew from gay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I knew from it, but I just didn't know what the hell. I mean, nobody used to say that you're gay like that. It'd be like queer, fairy. The happy organist, Dave Baby Cortez. What do you say? Monday, all music, man.
Oh!
I think that's the Neil Rogers challenge, Joe Bell. We can go a whole month and play music and still kick ass over the sports hours. What do you think? You think we could do it?
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. Starting with Dave Baby Cortez and the happy organ. Nothing like a happy organ, man. Keep that thing happy. What is it?
I said, how you doing?
And what did you just say?
I said, that's what I've always said.
Oh, nothing like sorry, I missed it.
I had an
that's enough. There's nothing like a happy organ, but not too happy. French peacekeeping troops in Lesbianon recently came within 2 seconds of firing missiles at Israeli fighter jets that approached as if to attack them, French Defense Minister Michel Alliot-Marie said. Like that. Oh, the French are just, disgusting. If there's any French people out there who want to take it personal, go right ahead. Ooh. Speaking to the lower house of Parliament on Wednesday night, she said it was the latest in a string of incidents in which Israeli warplanes had adopted a hostile attitude to French and German forces and added it was not tolerable. How do you like that? A catastrophe was narrowly avoided by our troops, she said, according to the transcript of her comments. A foreign ministry spokesman said the events occurred October 31st. The French foreign minister summoned Israel's ambassador in Paris, told him Israel should ensure such incidents do not happen again. Don't be doing it again, you crazy Jew bastards. Israeli F-15s descended rapidly and then rose quickly as if they were dropping bombs or firing at the French ground forces, which are part of the UN peacekeeping force, UNIFIL, she said. In legitimate defense, our soldiers recovered the covers from the missile battery and were 2 seconds away from firing at the planes that were threatening them, she said. Israeli jets have often flown over Lebanon since that grotesque 34-day war with Hezbollah guerrillas ended August 14. And grotesque is an understatement. There's Harry Reid.
Promised bipartisan.
Dead man in a suit. Boy, he is about as boring as the day is long. You know, he is just coma-inducing.
With us, we're not following that example.
And at the White House, the presumption...
Yeah, we don't care. 952 votes on the poll. We'll get to that 1,000 in spite of the very late start because, I don't know, maybe we're just on the same wavelength. Maybe Josh decided not to mess with those stories last night, and I thought, I'll put the poll on there when I get around to it. You know?
Actually, that's what it was. I saw that the poll wasn't up, so I just was going with the flow.
If the old fag can do it, I'll just screw off too. Isn't that what you were thinking?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, screw you. What do you think of Denise Richards, by the way?
I think she's hot. I don't care how many kids she's got.
You know where she is? She's in Richmond, British Columbia. A spokeswoman for Denise Richards blamed aggressive paparazzi for a run-in that prompted the Hollywood actress to toss a pair of laptops from a balcony, causing minor injuries to two elderly women.
Oi!
Howard Blank, a spokesman for the River Rock Casino Resort in the Vancouver suburb, confirmed the incident took place Wednesday evening. Global TV reported Richards was filming a scene for the movie Blonde and Blonder, although I think you'll agree with me that what's her name in the movie you got right there, Match Point?
Scarlett
Johansson. She's hotter than
peerless.
Yeah. Anyway, they were filming a scene for Blonde and Blonder when she allegedly confronted a photographer trying to take her picture, Richards. Richards threw the laptop computers off a balcony, hitting two elderly women sitting in the lobby below.
Oi!
Paramedics were called, but the women didn't appear to be seriously injured. Based on the actions of the paparazzi, they're lucky their laptops were the only things that were thrown off the ledge, Richards' publicist Nicole Perez said in L.A. Thursday. A statement from Blonde and Blonder producer Dean Bornstein indicated that a number of unauthorized persons got onto the set, began harassing members of the cast. While trying to stop the paparazzi, Denise Richards was involved in an altercation, Bornstein said. To protect her safety, she heaved her computers. She heaved at them. Isn't that what you do every time you feel like threatened? You take like your laptop and heave it out the window.
Heave it or heave
Especially
on
if you're
it.
like up on a balcony somewhere. There's a bunch of old Getchkis down there below. 959 votes on the poll. Or so many, I can't believe your food isn't there. I think you're getting shine today.
It's possible.
Think that is possible? Now, who told you were getting the food today? Wasn't Muff that said that?
Yes.
He asked permission. He said, would it be okay if they came back in again on Friday? I said, sure, no problem. Those guys love those tubs of ice cream and that increased weight and blood sugar. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about getting me some Kit Kat ice cream right now.
Don't do it.
I can't. It doesn't exist, I don't think. Well, I don't know yet. I haven't scoured for it. I mean, I know where it exists, but not here. Got to go to Niagara Falls for that. Maybe I'll go to Niagara Falls this weekend.
Okay.
Not to gamble, just to eat ice cream. I don't need ice cream, okay? Believe you me. I scream, you scream. We're all screamers. I don't want no ice cream. Bad for you. I'll tell you one thing, man. Diabetes is hell. I'm just telling you that right now. All you people who are like on the verge of it or fat and you think you're kidding yourself, don't get diabetes. Do not do it. Can't eat your pizza, you can't eat your regular pasta, you can't eat your ice cream, and then of course that sugar-free stuff that's loaded with sorbitol. Yeah, that's a good way to lose weight. Sit on a crapper all day. That's what you'll be doing. They got all kinds of sugar-free ice cream. First of all, it tastes like crap anyway, doesn't it?
What? Ice cream?
Sugar-free ice cream.
Oh, what's the point of that?
What do you mean? What's the point of that?
The sugar-free ice cream?
Oh, like sugar-free candy. Same thing. It's filled with maltitol and sorbitol and crapitol.
And it doesn't taste good?
No. But other than that.
Yeah.
963. I'm going to tell you, if you're diabetic, you better. And remember what I asked Hank when we were doing those insipid crossovers for a while there? And I asked him if he was taking his blood sugar, and he said no. He goes to the doctor like once every 3 months. I mean, what is that? What is that? I think he's the poster child for Charlie Bronson, Death Wish. Don't you?
I think so.
I mean, as big as a house, and he's got diabetes, and he don't take his blood sugar. Don't see any pricks on his fingertips there. Well, you ought to see my fingertips, especially on my right hand.
Yeah, a lot of pricks.
Well, you know, I take my blood sugar like about 6 times at least every day.
Wow.
What? Okay, enough with that. I know exactly where you're going with it, and we don't want to go there. Okay, not yet. Not until your next lunch with what's his name. Paul Krugman, The Great Revulsion. No, I don't have time to read this thing now. It's not that long, but I don't want to. I don't want to have to interrupt in the middle. You know, Redus Interruptus. I hate that. It's like when Greg Reed used to come in. You'd start babbling. That was Redus Interruptus. What an idiot. I was thinking about him this morning. You know, I was shaving and I was thinking about Greg Reed, and too bad he didn't slit his throat. An evil man, if there ever was one. Wouldn't you agree? Of course, yes. I remember that one time we had one of our many, many great rating books, and he came in there, and he's fisting you, you know, he's giving you the old fist routine. Yeah. That was back in the day before most people did that, as a matter of fact. I congratulate you on your hipness and coolness.
Now, you know, I try to stay current.
And these two guys who hate each other like poison, I mean, despise each other, and they're like high-fiving, you know. They're giving each other the old fist routine.
I was still in denial in those days.
No, you were not.
No, you were not. I didn't believe all these stories, and they turned out to be true.
This was after that, or maybe it was not. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't think it was.
No, because that call came in. I was here, but I don't think I was doing the show here all the time back in those days. That was way back in the early days. Right. I've decided to terminate. Congratulations on a great book, Neil. And by the way, I've decided to terminate George Rodriguez. Of course, we know who was behind that. But then at least he did the right thing. He did the right thing. Oh. How anybody could have allowed the kind of shenanigans that were going on there. Can you even begin to imagine the stuff that was going on that we never even were privy to? And I can only imagine the stuff that you were privy to that you never told me about.
Yeah.
Maybe when we come back, you'll tell us.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Remember this golden gasser. Wonderful WQAM.
It's been brought to my attention that your ratings are dying now. Well, that ought to show you what a big asset I was to you, and how.
Rectum.
You thought you could find somebody good enough to fill my baggy pants? It ain't easy. There ain't no chance I'll ever be coming back. Outside of considering a lucrative contract. If you want to know what'll save you from shutting that transmitter down, why, that's easy. Sure.
All you need is Mo. All you need is Mo. All you need is a show.
A meteor-old time slot only got you today. Despite that, my ratings have bottomed out in this case. Which radio had the revolving door for the gayest of all whores and sweetest.
All you need is Mo. All you need is Mo. All you need is a show.
All right.
You find away something. Jack told me to give you this.
What?
See? What are you going to do, fire me, huh?
Like old times.
From 19 at 560 WQM. So anyway, it just dawned on me that call did come in when I was here, but I wasn't doing the show all the time here because I remember I was there in that building on the day that you were having your big meeting with Greg. Remember that? This was at the time he was ready to fire your ass?
Okay.
Because he was under great duress from certain unmentionable individuals?
Not that he really wanted it. He needed an excuse.
And anyway, I remember he came there in the morning, and I was like, I don't know where the hell I went and hid. And I came back, and I said, well, how'd it go? And, well, not good. Because you guys hated each other like poison. But they're always high-fiving and putting on his big phony
You
act.
keep saying that I hated him, you know.
You did. You do. Yeah.
Because at the time I was in denial. I couldn't believe it. You know, somebody that's so friendly to you, to your face, would be saying the things that he was saying behind
your back. Well, he talked behind your back.
Right.
You know how that
you
is.
We're working hard like a son of a bitch to keep the show going and doing a good job.
He said you were a son of a bitch.
Right. Doing a way better job than any of the people that he was sucking around with.
Right. Most of whom are all gone by now. In fact, isn't it interesting how the worm has turned now since Greg Reed has gotten his ass canned? I mean, since how he was bumped up to being a consultant now. And when you tell me that he still has the balls to show up there, I mean, that's...
You call that a consultant?
Amazing to me. That's shocking. It's either a combination of chutzpah, stupidity, and or both. But anyway, we don't want to live in the past now, do we? Although I'll tell you, the past wasn't all so bad in many instances, you know? Such as when we actually had big numbers on the whole station and making all the bonuses.
Oh, you're talking
back in those
history
days.
past, yeah.
985 votes in a poll. Pretty soon we'll have 1,000. And then what? And then I'll shut up about it. Before Tuesday's midterm elections, Republican officials boasted that their highly sophisticated get-out-the-vote operation in the final hours would keep Congress in its control, but at least two notorious and high-profile party members didn't do enough to aid the cause, a Florida newspaper says. Mark Foley, the former U.S. congressman in rehab for booze and sex-related problems, didn't send an absentee ballot request to the St. Lucie County Elections Office, Josie Lambeed writes. And conservative pundit Ann Coulter, accused of voting in the wrong precinct earlier this year, didn't cast her ballot, contributing further to the demise of the GOP in Congress. No I voted stickers for them, Josie writes for the Palm Beach Post. The Associated Press recently reported that Coulter's case will soon be turned over to prosecutors because of her refusal to cooperate with Florida election officials. Coulter engaged in efforts to distract and divert focus on the process. Regarding this complaint, election supervisor Arthur Anderson told the Palm Beach Post, I did express my frustration to the state attorney in a recent meeting and warned him I may need his services, he said. Ironically, Anderson said that Coulter's voting rights would not be rescinded for next week's election, Josie Lambeed reported for the Post last week. Josie Lambeed. The Florida paper also reported that Coulter didn't vote in September's primaries. In her most recent column, Coulter argued that a handful of Democratic victories in the House and Senate did not mean that there was now a mandate for pulling out of Iraq. Right, you go, man, you dumb bitch, you phony dyke. Coulter notes that she had predicted this paltry Democratic win. Paltry, right, but neglects to mention her absence from the voting booth this election. Well, I didn't vote, but I didn't need to. See if, if, for example, Davis would have lost by one vote to Charlie Crist, I could take the fall for that, you know? And they said, well, he just didn't vote against Crist because Crist is one of his people, you know? Ain't one of my people. Not with that white hair and phony tan from the can. You ever get a tan on the can?
No, not
sometimes on your
rectum. Yeah, well.
Sometimes your butt gets a little bit darker if you sit on the can, you know, in the wrong position. 987 on there on the poll. Paul Krugman, do I have time for this now before the break? I sure hope so. Paul writes, The Great Revulsion. He says, I'm not feeling giddy as much as greatly relieved. Okay, maybe a little giddy. Give them hell, Harry and Nancy. Here's what I wrote more than 3 years ago in the introduction of my column collection, The Great Unraveling. I have a vision, maybe just a hope, of a great revulsion, a moment in which the American people look at what's happening, realize how their goodwill and patriotism have been abused, and put a stop to this drive to destroy much of what's best in our country. At the time, the right was still celebrating the illusion of victory in Iraq, and the bizarre Bush personality cult was still in full flower. But now the great revulsion has arrived. Tuesday's election was truly stunning victory for the Democrats. Candidates playing the caucus with the Democrats took 24 of the 33 Senate seats at stake this year, winning 7 million more votes than Republicans. In House races, Democrats received about 53% of the two-party vote, giving them a margin more than twice as large as the 2.5 percentage point lead that Mr. Bush claimed as a mandate 2 years ago, and the margin would have been even bigger if many Democrats hadn't been running unopposed. The election wasn't just the end of the road for Mr. Bush's reign of error, it was also the end of the 12-year Republican dominance of Congress. The Democrats will now hold a majority in the House that is about as big as the Republicans ever achieved during that era of dominance. Moreover, the new Democratic majority may well be much more effective than the majority the party lost in 1994, thanks to a great regional realignment in which the solid Northeast has replaced the solid South. Democratic control no longer depends on a block of Dixiecrats whose ideological sympathies were often with the other side of the aisle. Now, I don't expect or want a permanent Democratic lock on power, but I do hope and believe that this election marks the beginning of the end for the conservative movement that's taken over the Republican Party. I'm saying that. I'm not calling for or predicting the end of conservatism. There always have been and always will be conservatives on the American political scene, and that's as it should be. A diversity of views is part of what makes democracy vital. But we may be seeing the downfall of movement conservatism, the potent alliance of wealthy individuals, corporate interest, and the religious right that took shape in the 60s and 70s. This alliance may once have had something to do with ideas, but it's become mainly a corrupt political machine, and America will be a better place if that machine breaks down, man. Why do I want to see a movement conservatism crushed? Partly because the movement is fundamentally undemocratic. Its leaders don't accept the legitimacy of opposition. Democrats will only become acceptable, declared Grover Norquist, the president of Americans for Tax Reform, once they're comfortable in their minority status. He added, any farmer will tell you that certain animals run around and are unpleasant, but when they've been fixed, then they're happy and sedate. And the determination of the movement to hold on to power at any cost has poisoned our political culture. Just think about the campaign that just ended with its coded racism, deceptive robocalls, personal smears, homeless men bust in to hand out deceptive flyers, and lots more. Not to mention the constant implication that anyone who questions the Bush administration or its policies is very nearly a traitor. When movement conservatism took it over, the Republican Party ceased to be the party of Eisenhower and became the party of Karl Rove. The good news is that Karl Rove and the political tendency he represents may both have just self-destructed. 2 years ago, people were talking about permanent right-wing dominance of American politics, but since then, the American people have gotten a clearer sense of what rule by movement conservatives means. They've seen the movement take us into an unnecessary war and botch every aspect of that war. They've seen a great American city left to drown. They've seen corruption reach deep into our political process. They've seen the hypocrisy of those who lecture us on morality, and they just said no. You go, Paul. 992 on the poll. Aren't you excited about that? No punches pooed.
No.
No punches pooed. Now, is that guy who does that car show on Saturday, is he as goofy as he sounds in that promo, Josh? Like I said, 26 past noon.
Josh just forgot how to use the microphone.
Oh. Yeah, that's okay.
I forgot where the button is.
He's under a lot of duress, man.
Yeah, I'll go press
it for duress, and he's got to catch up on those bedtime stories.
It's Friday, you bastard.
Bum, 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 Saddam.
Oh!
Bum, 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 bum. Let's bomb Saddam. Make it cry for his bomb.
All right.
Let's make it real, real gone. Hussein is an a-hole. Let's turn him into charcoal. Bomb Saddam. Bum, 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 Saddam. Bum, 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 Hussein. Bum, 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 bum. Let's bomb Hussein. George W. is getting tired of you. His daddy didn't do it, so it's way overdue. Bomb Saddam. Let it bomb Saddam. Saddam is an a-hole. Let's turn him into charcoal. Bomb Saddam.
12:32 at 560 WQM. Look at that. Possible fire on Chicago subway being evacuated. Did you see that?
Nope.
Breaking news, man. Breaking news. They're breaking it. Wait till you hear this poll. This MSNBC poll. Oh, you're going to do that again.
I was breaking
more than
it.
once. In fact, if the right-wingers see this poll at MSNBC, where the hell is it? One moment, please. Where is, well, it's whatever. MSNBC is taking a poll online. Do you believe President Bush's actions justify impeachment? And here are the choices. I'll start at the bottom, okay? I don't know, 1.8%. No, the man has done absolutely nothing wrong. Impeachment would just be a political lynching, 7.3%. No, like any president, he's made a few missteps, but nothing approaching high crimes and misdemeanors, 4.4%. Yes, between the secret spying, the deceptions leading to war and more, there's plenty to justify putting him on trial. 86%.
Oh, my God.
And they've got over 312,000 responses, even more than our poll, although we got 1,003 now.
Yeah, but Nancy Pelosi said...
Yeah. How do you like that? Howard Dean and Nancy Pelosi are saying, yeah. How do you like that? No impeachment. 1,003 votes on our poll. I'm going to give you the result, and then you're on your own with that thing. I wash my hands of it. How many of your friends and or family listen to the Neil Rogers Show? 1,003 votes. A few, 381. A few. Well, that's good. 0, 258. Almost none, 241. Most, 49. Some, 25. All of them, 19. I hate this poll, 16. Only 1.5%. And only my enemies listen, 14. That's 1,003 votes, so we did our job, okay? In spite of the late start we got. See, and the stories are on there, so don't be giving us any crap, me and Josh. We got this stuff on there for you, okay? Better late than never, right?
That's right.
Just hold your horses. The price is right. At least we don't charge you to look at the fine stuff on our website.
Yeah.
One more reminder. Now, I guess your food isn't going to show up today, huh?
I don't know.
It's a bad, bad omen, man. It's 12:35 in the afternoon. I know if I'd be there and I'd have been expecting tubs of ice cream and foot-long wieners, and I got shined, I'd be wild. I would be just throwing a Schmitz fit. Right?
Absolutely.
BSO deputies will be conducting DUI saturation patrols tonight from approximately 8:30 tonight till 5 o'clock in the morning in the areas of Deerfield Beach, Pompano Beach, right by Josh's house, and Oakland Park. And then tomorrow night from about 8:30 p.m. till 5 a.m. on Sunday morning in the areas of unincorporated Central Broward County, Pompano Beach, and Oakland Park. Impaired drivers will be identified, and DUI laws will be actively enforced. They'll be identified, dragged out of their cars, shot, and left in the road to be run over. And don't you think that's a good idea, impaired drivers? I think that drunk drivers ought to be like, shot. 1,006 votes. I can't stop looking at the total. I probably should put tape a thing over the screen, because just forget about that poll, right? Forget about it. We got our to where we wanted to go. That MSNBC poll is shocking, isn't it? 86%. Of course, I'm sure that probably there are people freeping it, but who the hell cares about that, right?
Right.
Student leaders at a California college have touched off a furor by banning the Pledge of Allegiance at their meetings, saying they see no reason to publicly swear loyalty to God and the U.S. government. And I say, you go, guys. Excelente. The move by Orange Coast College student trustees, the latest clash over patriotism and religion in American schools, has infuriated some of their classmates. Too bad, prompting one young woman to loudly recite the pledge in front of the board on Wednesday night in defiance of the rule.
They showed them. Oh.
You see John Hall singing the Star Spangled Banner with, what's his name?
No.
Oh. On Comedy Central.
What's his name?
America is the one thing I'm passionate about. Stephen Colbert.
Oh.
Had a brain fart. They were singing the national anthem together.
I didn't see it.
America is the one thing I'm passionate about, and can't let them. That's John Hall from Orleans. Remember, he was the lead singer of Orleans, and he just won as a Democrat. Just got elected to Congress. America is the one thing, and of course, Heath Schuler. Did you look at his wife yet?
No.
What about you, Josh?
No.
America is the one, and he's, like I said, old and ugly now. Boy, he got, 35. Looks couldn't easy pass for 80. America is the one thing I'm passionate about, and can't let them take that away from me. 18-year-old political science major Christine Zoldis told Reuters, the fact that they have enough power to ban one of the most valued traditions in America is just horrible, Zoldo said, adding she would attend every board meeting to salute the flag. The move was led by 3 recently elected student trustees who ran for office wearing revolutionary-style berets and said they don't believe in publicly swearing an oath to the American flag and government at their school. One student trustee voted against the measure, which doesn't apply to other student groups or campus meetings. The ban follows a 2002 ruling by a federal appeals court in San Francisco that said forcing school children to recite the pledge was unconstitutional because the phrase "under God" inserts religion in it. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down the ruling on procedural grounds, but left the door open for another challenge. I challenge it right now, okay? All you Getchkis, all you silly, the God Squad, the Jesus freaks, the Jesus Christers, as Gore Vidal calls them. That under God part is sort of offensive to me, student trustee Jason Bell, who proposed the ban, told Reuters. I'm an atheist and a socialist.
Oh! Wow.
Probably one of those evil secular humanists, no doubt. And if you know your history, you know that under God was inserted during the McCarthy era and was directly designed to destroy my ideology, he said. That is correct. That was during the Cold War and all that red baiting that was going on. Got to stick the God crap in there, okay? Fight back against these godless, communist, atheist bastards. Bell said the ban largely came about because the trustees didn't want to publicly vow loyalty to the American government before their meetings. Loyalty ought to be something the government earns through performance, not through reciting pledge, he said. Not through a bunch of empty, stupid-ass words. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Martha Parma, a spokesman for the Coast Community College District, said her office had no standing on the student board and took no position on the flag salute ban. If their personal belief is they don't want to say the Pledge of Allegiance, then the district certainly isn't going to dictate what they do, she said. More than 28,000 students attend the community college located in conservative Orange County, California, south of L.A. Conservative, my ass. Ultra-right-wing, rednecky Orange County, California.
That's where I was born.
Well, sure good thing you got out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's here in a better place.
Like I said, too bad you're not still there. Well, whatever. Whatever you like. Could be in Brandon, going to that shopping mall. They got all the fast food joints there. You can go see the old Dairy Queen. Shouldn't have said that, because I'm sure that Jackson's is probably on the way right now with tons of good stuff for you guys. It's 12:40 in the afternoon, and I know they're going to be there.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Start to our Friday, you bastards.
The way come Facey play.
Coltrane was a hit parade.
Pros like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
And you knew who you were then.
There were no black Republicans. Then we could use a man like Marcus Garvey again. All the guys I knew were straight.
Whitey was the thing to hate.
King Eldorado ran great. Those were the
We're going to come celebrate Oktoberfest in scenic Marshall, Michigan, and have lunch, enjoy a turkey dinner at Winchuler's restaurant.
Speaking of lunch.
Yes?
So apparently there was some confusion. There's some bad news and some good news. The bad news is apparently Duff was talking about next Friday, even though we all
what a pansy, man.
We all got the impression that it was this Friday.
Hey,
but
Duff, you fairy.
Trooper that he is, he's going to bring us some Char Hut as a
pacifier.
He feels bad for the mix-up.
Right.
Well, he ought to, man, because he asked me Friday. He didn't say which Friday, so wouldn't you assume that when you say, is it okay if they come back Friday? Wouldn't you assume that would mean this Friday?
We all
not 50
assumed
weeks
the
from
same
Friday?
thing, but that's
not 27
all right.
weeks from Sukkot?
Well, he said since the event is on Saturday, that's why it's next Friday. Next Saturday.
Sounds real lame to me, Duff.
It's all right, because he's doing a make good.
Well, that's good. Char Hut's fine.
Yes,
man.
it is.
So bringing a whole bunch of stuff from Char Hut. Of course, by the time it gets here, you'll have to nuke it. Heat it up pretty good.
I have a nuker just for that purpose.
I can't believe you got that movie so fast, because it says on the even now I'm looking to see if it shows delivered, which it does not, because it wasn't coming directly from them, from Amazon.
Right.
So that means this weekend you got a chance to watch Match Point, and I'll tell you this: if you don't love that movie, I'll be absolutely shocked.
Okay.
And I also will guarantee you'll want to see it more than once. You'll loan it to Josh, and you damn well better bring it back.
Yeah, Josh.
How's this for the beginning of a lawsuit, speaking of movies, filed today in L.A. County Superior Court? It starts out by saying Sacha Baron Cohen is a prankster.
No kidding.
Two anonymous plaintiffs are suing 20th Century Fox and One America Productions, claiming members of their college fraternity were interviewed to become part of the smash Borat Cultural Leanings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan film.
Uh-huh.
The plaintiffs listed as John Doe 1 and 2 were allegedly assured the film would not be shown in the U.S. and their identities would not be revealed.
Uh-huh.
They were both selected to appear in the movie, and according to the suit, taken to a drinking establishment to loosen up and provided alcoholic beverages. They claim they signed the movie releases after heavy drinking.
Uh-huh.
The suit claims both men were taken to a motorhome where they were filmed, all the while encouraged to continue drinking. The movie features a scene in the motorhome where Cohen gets drunk with three frat boys who go on a racist rant about how they wish they had slaves and how minorities in the U.S. have all the power.
Especially the Jews.
According to the lawsuit, the frat boys only received $200 for the controversial appearance. The plaintiffs claim they suffered humiliation, mental anguish, and emotional and physical distress, loss of reputation, goodwill, and standing in the community because the movie was indeed released in the U.S., and the suit asked for unspecified damages, and my response to them is, your mama.
Yeah,
your mama so sucks.
It was another drunken racist tirade like Mel, and, they're embarrassed that it was on film.
Too bad. Too bad. Thank God that there's no drunken tirades and all this other crap going on at their fraternities. I'm sure glad about that.
Right. They're all upset.
1,030 votes.
About 30, man.
On our poll, which go take a look at it if you want to hear. I'm not reading the result again until the end of the show. And speaking of that poll on MSNBC, like you said, here's the sad part. Appearing on Comedy Central's The Daily Show, Democratic Party Chief Howard Dean told host Jon Stewart, I know half your audience wants us to impeach the president, which that drew big cheers, but it's not going to happen, he said. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
He says, a lot of you want us to impeach the audience, and the audience is going, like that. And then he said, not going to happen. Stewart apologized to Dean, admitted he was wrong for telling him on a previous appearance that the Democrats could not possibly win unless they staked out a clear policy on Iraq and other issues. He also noted that the two key breakups announced Wednesday, Brittany and K-Fed and Bush and Defeld, as Stewart called Donald Rumsfeld. Defeld. K-Fed, FedEx, and D-Feld. Stewart also said that... I don't want to go into it. Stewart also said that President Bush seemed a bit humbled during his press conference and perhaps was ready to compromise and work with the Democrats. Dean reminded him this was the same person who brought us Rumsfeld and Cheney. Later on the Colbert Report, host Stephen Colbert noted the election success enjoyed by nearly everyone who appeared on his show this year, such as Representative Elliot Engel of New York, who had let him comb his mustache. John Hall, who won a stunning upset also in upstate New York after getting what Colbert called the Colbert bump, returned to the show, and the two sang a rousing version, like I told you, of the Star-Spangled Banner. They had done the same in...
I was ready for it this time.
They had done the same in Hall's first visit, but it was cut from the show and ended up on YouTube. So this one was for everyone. Hall, of course, is the leader, the former leader of the rock group, Orleans. And they were going to start right there, and he chops it off. I'm going to tell you, that was a magnificent read-up. That wasn't just a talk-up, it was a read-up. And you butchered me, slaughtered me, sliced me. You just wait till your birthday this year.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up very soon.
Yes, it is.
And you know what you're going to be saying?
Yeah, I got the check. Got my car fixed.
Not. Anyway. 1,033 votes on the poll. What's this gets you on here?
Judaism, more than it wounds.
Oh, this is about the gay pride thing in Jerusalem.
That's a complete distortion of what Jewish values are all about. And that's part of my own heritage. It's not only the heritage of Rabbi Levin, with all due respect. And part of
Guess what? Casa Hoy, sweetheart. Anyway, moving along. Okay, I don't want to get bogged down with that whole Jerusalem crap. You know, the people there are crazy in the first place. All the people in the Middle East are a little crazy. Maybe not all, just most. With 18,382 votes either not cast or not recorded in one of the nation's most closely contested congressional races, Florida Secretary of State Sue Cobb, I wonder if she's kin to Corn, announced yesterday that she'll send a team to observe an upcoming recount and review Sarasota County's voting procedures. The ghost of Katherine Harris hangs dark over that area. Cobb's letter to Sarasota's election supervisor, Kathy Dent, signaled her concern with the unusually, I wonder if she's kin to Bucky Dent. Every time I read her name, I always say that, Bucky Dent. He used to look really good, too. God. A long time ago, about 100 years ago. Bucky Dent. When he was with the Yankees, I guess. Am I right, Josh? When he was with the Yankees? Well, what do you know?
Oh, yeah, that's when he was good looking.
Signal her concern with the unusually high number of non-votes called undervotes and citing a new state law that gives her broad authority to inspect any election records, machines, or premises. He was no Brady Quinn, though, I'll tell you that. Brady Quinn makes my knees buckle. Dent has asked Cobb's office to observe the recount examining Republican Vern Buchanan's 368-vote lead over Democrat Christine Jennings. Regardless of the recount result, the case will likely end up in court and will have ramifications not just in Congress but all throughout Florida. Activist groups from Sarasota to Dade County have voiced concerns over the soundness and accuracy of the ATM-style touchscreen voting machines in use and for the process of reviewing votes. The machines manufacture election systems and software, and election officials say the equipment works well when it's properly maintained and used. But Jennings' lawyer, Kendall Coffey, who never met a camera he didn't like, said he isn't so sure and that his client draws only a little comfort from Cobb's decision to become involved. I don't think any of us would be satisfied with having the government do the verification because, honestly, the government appears to be part of the problem here and may or may not be part of the solution, said Coffey, who represented Democrat Al Gore's failed recount challenge in the disputed 2000 presidential election. Heck of a job, Kendall. Heck of a job. Though Cobb's office said it will conduct an audit, a spokesman said it has no handbook or plan in the office for the task. Governor Jeb Bush, your fat-ass governor who appointed Cobb, said he was concerned with the undervotes. That anomaly seems unusual, he said. Kind of like the Jebster and his whole family. Unusual. Dent, who declined to comment yesterday, said earlier she looked forward to a recount and also that her brother did used to look really good. But she had earlier dismissed what she called the anecdotal voter complaints about the undervotes, which spanned every demographic in Sarasota. We do not have any equipment failure, Dent said. Coffey said Dent was in a state of denial for suggesting that the undervote was either the result of voter error or voters choosing not to vote because they were turned off by the nasty race to replace the unctuous Katherine Harris, the former Secretary of State who presided over the 2000 debacle. There's a wrinkle with recounts on touchscreens. It says the machines are essentially asked to verify themselves, and computer coding problems were discovered with the audit log, a central component of recounts, in iVotronic machines, voting machines in a 2000 review after a Dade municipal election. That bug, as an expert described it, was fixed, said an ESNS spokeswoman who stressed that the machine's vote-counting abilities have consistently proved accurate. The bug-fixing enhancement was sent out to all iVotronic counties, including Broward and Sarasota. So what time is Duff showing up with your food, guys?
He'd like to be here by 1:30.
He'd like to be there by 1:30? Might have to make a stop or two on the way. Well, there might be, some hot hitchhikers out there on Biscayne Boulevard. Oh, he ain't going to be coming on Biscayne Boulevard. He's not in Dade County, for Christ's sake. He's up there in Pembroke Pines. He's just up the road a piece.
Right.
In fact, if he can swing on over to 441, come straight down 441, and be there in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, right?
2 shakes of something.
Now, is that how you come to work?
I come from the other direction, living east, as I do these days.
Oh.
95 to...
You come down 95?
Sure.
Woo! Boy, there's a man who lives dangerously.
Well, there are only other dangerous options.
Well, let's see. I guess I can Schmidt-can this thing about Kimbo Camper and Charhut. Thanks to Charhut for the food that's coming for the guys, by the way. And thanks to Duff for getting their appetites all whipped up for ice cream. But now you got something to look forward to next Friday, the 17th.
That's right.
Like you said, there's a silver lining in every tub of ice cream, man.
Mm-hmm. Duff's a mensch.
You are so easy, man.
It's
so
up
easy.
to us.
The hell he didn't. He's a wuss. Like that old guy over there in the trailer park. He's a pussy. Well, he sure as hell is. I think that's his middle name, isn't it? 1,043 votes on the poll for those who are upset that I'm not giving you updates. You spoil the audience. You keep giving them updates and go look on somebody's computer, okay? Go look in a window somewhere. Go to one of those, I don't even know if they have them anywhere there,
What?
Those computer joints.
Oh, the cyber cafes? Yeah, I assume they're still around.
I mean, like in real cities. I mean, we got them here, and they certainly got them all over Europe.
Yeah, we got to have
internet cafes.
Don't know where they are.
Well, who the hell would?
Herself included. So the town cannot be caught off guard.
Una star internazionale come Tom Cruise penso che sia desiderata da molti.
No, right. Why don't you get a little Italiano on there, man? I speak 2 or 3 words.
The biggest names of best talent. This is Neil Rogers.
Okay, this Scott Farrell. And when I'm up in Boca Chica slapping old women with painted lips around the pool, I listen to the Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour. I listen to the Neil Rogers Fair and Balanced 1 to 2 hour.
Tonight on Bravo, it's Inside the Actor's Bathroom with host James Lipton.
I'm here in the bathroom adjacent to the master bedroom in the Beverly Hills mansion of legendary film actor Jack Nicholson. Sir, I am honored.
Yeah, whatever. If you don't mind, I'm a little busy here.
I understand. 12 hours ago, you enjoyed a delicious dinner of ribeye steak with sautéed onions and French fries. Tell me, Mr. Jack Nicholson, whatever became of that enchanting entree?
Well, let me stand up here and I'll show you. There, you see?
Simply engrossing.
Now, why don't you get the out of here? You're sick.
Magnificent. Now, I don't have to ask your favorite curse word.
And be sure to tune in next week when James Lipton visits the downstairs half bath of acclaimed actress Jodie Foster.
Well, Miss Foster, that's an even bigger piece of crap than Maverick.
Thank you, Mr. Lipton.
On Inside the Actor's Bathroom.
Dr. Lecter. She just makes me ill. It's 101 at 560 WQM, so I looked for Wynn Schuler's on here among the many attractions in Marshall, Michigan. I can't find it. What I started to tell you before when you gave me the exciting news about Charhut is going to make up for the fact that Duff screwed you over today, that Pusey, was the fact that Wynn Schuler's like on Thanksgiving Day, or I guess any day, when they had turkey and stuffing and the whole deal, you could get seconds for free. Being the pig that I was back in the day. But it was 1965, I believe. Marshall, Michigan, WMRR. Ooh. Aliens could attack any time, warns former Ministry of Defense chief in Britain. Boy, those Brits are really a panic, aren't they? He's not talking about illegal aliens like your Mexicans. He's talking about from out of this world, baby. UFO sightings and alien visitors tend to be solely the reserve of sci-fi movies, it says. So when a former Ministry of Defense chief warns that the country could be attacked by extraterrestrials at any time, you may be forgiven for feeling a little bit alarmed, as in...
Oh, my God.
During his time as head of the Ministry of Defense UFO project, Nick Pope was persuaded into believing that other life forms may visit Earth, and more specifically, Britain. Oh, I think they already have been there. You see a lot of the Brits, you're positive the ship has already landed? Especially like Prince Charles, for example, with those Mr. Spock ears, you know?
Mm-hmm.
His concern is that highly credible sightings are simply dismissed, and he complains that the project he once ran is now virtually closed down, leaving the country wide open to aliens. Mr. Pope decided to speak out about his worries after resigning from his post at the Directorate of Defense Security at the Ministry of Defense this week. The consequences of getting this one wrong could be huge, he said. Huge. If you reported a UFO sighting now, I'm absolutely sure you just get back a standard letter telling you not to worry. Frankly, we are wide open. If something does not behave like a conventional aircraft now, it'll be ignored. The X-Files have been closed down. If these words had come from a sci-fi fanatic, they could be easily dismissed by cynics. But Mr. Pope's CV, he was head of the UFO project between 91 and 94, cannot be ignored. When he began his job, he too was skeptical about UFOs, but access to classified files on the subject and investigation of a series of spectacular UFO sightings gradually changed his mind. I wonder if Mr. Pope knows Art Bell. You think? Wouldn't that be swell?
That would be.
And while Mr. Pope says there's no evidence of hostile intent, he insists it cannot be ruled out. Boy, it's a good thing I'm not there, boy, because I love Charhut.
They're great.
Especially the sausage, man. Sausage with onion and cheese. There has got to be the potential for that, and one is left with the uneasy feeling that if it turned out to be so, there's very little we could do about it, he said. If you believe these things are extraterrestrial craft, you cannot rule out what is happening as some kind of covert reconnaissance. They're out there, man. They're spying on us. They're looking. They're feeding us out. One incident which persuaded him of the existence of alien life forms was in 1993. There were reports of a vast, triangular-shaped craft spotted flying over RAF bases in the West Midlands. Most of the witnesses were police and military personnel, he said. Hundreds of members of the public also had sightings over a period of several hours. In another incident in 1980 at RAF bases in Suffolk, staff investigated a suspected plane crash after bright lights were reported coming from the nearby woods. They're in the woods, baby. They found a kind of lunar landing module standing on three legs, which then flew off. The indents it left in the ground, the indents. Don't you love that? Don't you love these Brits? The indents it left in the ground were found to emit 10 times the normal levels of radiation. Mr. Pope said these sorts of incidents are why I got so frustrated. In my time, I would brief the more interesting sightings up the chain of command to people like the Chief of Air Staff, and would get the answer back that it was very interesting, and I'd clearly done a good job investigating, and that was it. Like your lunch yesterday, you know. You invented a little bit, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And Clarence is still calling the shots, and Joyce. Everyone is a piece of a puzzle, but no one takes it seriously. There needs to be more resources and people who are prepared to look at past the philosophical issue, look at the reports, investigate them properly. I can't even read this, I'm so tongue-tied, about these UFOs. Whether you believe these things are foreign air forces testing prototype aircraft, or whether you believe there's something more exotic with the speeds and movements they're capable of, it's technology we would very much like to get hold of, he said. Like to get hold of some of them critters from outer space. A spokesman for the Ministry of Defense insisted that all UFO sightings were investigated for evidence to suggest that UK airspace has been compromised by hostile or unauthorized air activity. She said unless there's such evidence, the Ministry of Defense doesn't attempt to positively identify what was seen, what we be seeing. Mr. Pope is continuing his UFO research in a private capacity since leaving the Ministry of Defense and is recognized as a leading authority on UFOs and the unexpected. He's written 4 science fiction books drawing on his experience at the Ministry of Defense and lectures around the world on the subject. He's appeared on BBC Newsnight and Radio 4's TV Today program and has acted as a consultant on numerous TV documentaries. It sounds to me like he's all whipped up. All whipped up and no place to go. 1,051 votes on the poll. Now remember, I think it was just yesterday, maybe it was Wednesday, who the hell knows? I can't keep track. That I read an article that said the Israelis are not going to attack Iran's nuclear program. Remember that?
Right. Well, guess what?
The Deputy Defense Minister suggested in comments published today that Israel might be forced to launch a military strike against Iran's nuclear program. The clearest statement yet of such a possibility from a high-ranking official. He's really rank. I'm not advocating an Israeli preemptive military action against Iran, and I'm aware of its possible repercussions, Deputy Defense Minister Ephraim Snech, a former general, told the Jerusalem Post. I consider it a last resort, but even the last resort is sometimes the only resort. Sneh's comments, I don't know, Snech, Schnur, his comments didn't necessarily reflect the view of Israel's government or Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, said government spokesman Miri Eisen. I wonder if she's kin to Mr. Eisen. Israel sees Iran as the greatest. Oh, I bet you we got that. The Eisen, oh yeah.
While spending the remainder of your golden years in
Oh, Mr. Eisen, might have to play that. Israel sees Iran as the greatest threat to its survival. Hardline Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad has frequently called for Israel's destruction.
Ahmadinejad.
Israel crippled Iraq's atomic program 25 years ago with an airstrike on its unfinished nuclear reactor. Experts say Iran has learned from Iraq's mistakes, scattering its nuclear facilities and building some underground. They got them covered up, you know. Sometimes if you don't want people to get to your goods, you got to cover them up.
That's right.
Snay's tough talk is the boldest to date by any high-ranking Israeli official. Other Israeli leaders frequently discuss the Iranian threat in grave terms, but stop short of threatening military action. Well, que sera, sera. Whatever's going to be, will be. You know what I'm saying? Just like that grotesque invasion of Lesbianon. Just when they started to put their crap back together again and started to get a few tourists and started thinking, hey, life ain't so bad. And guess what? Surprise! Here come those crazy Israelis again, led, of course, by Bush and Condom Lisa. Now, there's a bitch. I'd like to see her ass impeached. Democratic National Committee Chairman Howard Dean, the former presidential candidate who was once in danger of being remembered for an angry scream, has come full circle. He's come full circle. In fact, maybe he's even shopping at Circle K. Dean's crazy strategy of rebuilding the Democratic Party across all states helped the Democrats achieve success as they captured Congress in the midterm elections, writes Joe Conason at Salon.com. Only weeks after the Democratic National Committee chose Howard Dean as its chairman last year, the nasty whispers began to circulate around Washington and among longtime party donors and activists in cities from New York to L.A., writes Conason. He's going to be a disaster, they said. He can't raise any money. He doesn't know what he's doing. And what does he mean by this crazy 50-state strategy? Despite his struggles with power brokers in a party he was selected to lead, Dean persevered and is now enjoying vindication far earlier than he ever expected, the article says. What Dean and his organizers created was an environment that allowed insurgents and outliers, as well as the party's chosen challengers, to ride the national wave of revulsion against conservative rule, Conason says. Faced with many more viable challenges than anticipated, the Republicans made mistakes in allocating resources and were forced to defend candidates in districts that are usually safe. Conason says that Dean has reached a peaceful accommodation with his party adversaries, in part motivated by his popularity among the unruly netroots. The netroots. While deliberation over the continuance of the 50-state strategy will continue, Dean has in the meantime won the argument he initiated in the planning for this year's midterm. There would have been much less for Democrats to celebrate on election night, concludes Conason, if Howard Dean hadn't been so crazy and so freaking persistent. You go, Howie. And by the way, Barack Obama is the man. Just remember I told you that right here on this show, Friday, November 10th, on Veterans Day. Barack Obama. All right. I'm going to tell you that right now. Forget about Iraq. Let's get Barack.
Better him than her.
Are you picking on Swillery again? That bitch?
Yes.
Good. Although I will say it again, her performance the other night was...
that's you know...
That's fine.
Pretty good for her.
Nevertheless.
Marginally impressive for her.
Doesn't have a chance.
QAM.
You bastard.
What kind of day is calm and collected, with the best chance of getting elected? Married 16 years and never cheated. What kind of day cannot be defeated? With your help, I know she can win. So vote for Hillary Clinton. She's got the guts to stand by her man. If she can't do it, no one can. She's blonde and a lawyer too. Just think of all the laws she'll push through. Get out that ballot and write in for Hillary Clinton. Her mate's a ultra rich, that's true, but he ain't for nothing that Bush hasn't tried on you. The other candidates are fine on TV, but not half as fine as Hillary. Vote early, vote often for Hillary Clinton. Think of the great political wives of history who outshine their husbands just like Hillary. Imelda, Cleopatra, and Eva Peron, but next to Hillary Clinton, they're all outshone. Vote early, vote often for Hillary Clinton.
No.
H-I-L-L-A-R-Y. Hillary, she's our guy. In the great state of Arkansas, she looks like she got off the set of L.A. Law, and that's totally cool by me. So vote for Hillary Clinton.
No. Yahoo.
Get it, girl.
117, you go, guy. Anyway, here's the update on the MSNBC poll. I just voted on it, by the way. You can go to MSNBC's website and go to, as Chris Matthews would say, politics.
I'm going to do it right now.
He sends me into a state of depression just seeing him on the air. Oh, there's Bill Schneider. I wonder what he's babbling about. Oh, he's all done. The poll question on MSNBC's poll, and they've got 1,316,123 responses. Pretty heavy duty, man. Do you believe President Bush's actions justify impeachment? On the bottom, I don't know, 1.8%. No, the man has done absolutely nothing wrong. Impeachment would just be a political lynching, 7.2%. No, like any president, he's made a few missteps, but nothing approaching high crimes and misdemeanors, 4.4%. Yes, between the secret spying, the deceptions leading to war, and more, there is plenty to justify putting him on trial. 87%! Oh! How do you like that? Up from 86 last time we checked it out. Aren't you impressed?
I am.
87 freaking percent. We got 1,084 votes in our poll. Could be the last poll we take for a while, till Monday anyway. I think that's a good idea I had about that. Is your char hut there yet, by the way?
No.
Well, this is very sad. In fact, it's working me up a nice appetite for lunch. I think I'm going to go and get a nice bowl of soup and a cheeseburger. No bun, of course.
Okay, that sounds fun.
8 House races remain without winners after Tuesday's election, with Republican incumbents in tight contests to keep their seats and state officials not rushing to win the dispute. Representative Deborah Price, a member of the House Republican leadership, is ahead of her Central Ohio race by 3,536 votes. In the Columbus, Ohio area, election officials are delaying the count of more than 9,000 provisional ballots by one day, so it doesn't disrupt the much-vaunted Ohio State-Michigan football game on November 18th. Elections officials in that district will start counting November 19th. Can I read that sentence again?
Could you?
In the Columbus, Ohio area, elections officials are delaying the count of more than 9,000 provisional ballots by one day, so it doesn't disrupt the much-vaunted Ohio State-Michigan football game on November 18th. Election officials in that district will start counting November 19th. What does counting the votes have to do with the football game?
Hey, that's number 1 and number 2 right there.
Oh, excuse me. I'm ready to do both. Ohio Republican Representative Gene Schmidt, who called Democratic Representative John Murtha a coward, is ahead of her challenger by 2,862 votes. Representative Barbara Cuban, who threatened to slap her wheelchair-bound Libertarian opponent after a debate, is ahead by fewer than 1,000 votes in her Wyoming contest. Of the 8 uncalled races, only one, Joe Courtney's challenge to Republican Representative Rob Simmons in Connecticut, gives the Democratic challenger the lead. In that race, Courtney's ahead by a scant 166 votes. Almost 250,000 votes were cast. He's ahead by 166. A Thursday recount in Hebron, Connecticut gives Simmons one more vote. Recounts were scheduled in 74 other towns throughout the weekend. Oh, they recounted and he got one more vote. All right. In Florida, a recount is set to begin in Representative Catherine Harris's former district. Republican Vern Buchanan has a 373-vote lead, declared victory over Democrat Christine Jennings. The AP has declared Buchanan the winner. In Georgia, first-term Democratic Representative John Barrow, I wonder if he's kin to Henry.
Oh!
Faced a rematch against former Republican Representative Max Burns and led by fewer than 600 votes. In Washington State, the count in a suburban Seattle district was delayed by heavy flooding, leaving incumbent Republican Representative Dave Reichert ahead of challenger Darcy Berner 3 days after the voting ended. In other races that remain undecided include North Carolina Representative Robin Hayes' campaign against Larry Kissel, separated by 449 votes. He's leading Kissel by a bissel. And New Mexico Representative Heather Wilson's race, where Democrat Patricia Madrid trails about 1,600 votes. Madrid. Never been to Spain, have you, either one of you?
No.
I have. How do you like that?
I know.
It's okay. Haven't been to Barcelona yet. Not yet. Madrid was okay. Not great. It was all right. 1086 on the poll. We're going to go over 1100 without even, after a late start, the whole deal. You know what?
I can't find that poll. I must be dim.
Here's the deal.
All right.
Google MSNBC impeachment poll. Can you handle that? That's how I found it, as opposed to just going to the regular MSNBC website, because I didn't know where the hell to find it on there.
Yeah, I was searching.
MSNBC impeachment poll.
I got it.
Google it, and the very top one, and you click on it, and there's the poll, and you can vote, and you can see the result. You got it? Everybody hop on it.
Yes.
Let's get it up to 90%.
Yes.
Cindy Sheehan writes, sit down for change and stand up for peace. You go, Cindy. Well, they sure are all over her like just unbelievable. She's like a poster child for abuse by the American right wing. Cindy says, I haven't met anyone who likes to go to funerals. Attending a funeral must be one of the last things any of us would ever choose to do. Here in America, we're even more distant from death than we are from birth. Both natural activities have been made abnormal and something that only happens in hospitals. Even though I had my babies at home, I'm totally like the average American who has an aversion to death and funerals. So can you imagine the feeling of panic and immeasurable pain when I awoke on April 13, 2004, the morning of my son's funeral? Can you imagine how I was feeling when I took a shower that morning, a morning just like every other morning except I was burying my oldest child? Can you imagine the surreal feeling of putting on a new Mother of a Hero suit and walking out to the limo that picked us up for the very well-traveled trip to our church where I'd spent so many happy hours with Casey? My surviving children looked so beautiful in their funeral clothing, and Casey's dad was so handsome in his new black suit. It took all my energy not to throw up. This week, how many more Iraqi mothers and American mothers have had to do so needlessly walk in the same sad shoes that I had to walk in 2.5 years ago? To the people who say I should just get over it, the tears are pouring down my face right now recalling that awful April day, but also for the families who will have to go to their loved ones' funerals because of the clown-in-chief. Yesterday in his press conference, George said they had been to rodeos before. Was he the one in the clown suit diving into the barrel right before the bull gored him in the buttocks? What George has done to our country is not a rodeo. It's one long funeral of death and misery, and the rodeo clown has presided over the demise of our democracy and the abolishment of our security. America and humanity won huge victories this week, but peace wasn't the victor, change was. To have true peace, we need more than Rumbo to resign. Congress needs to do its constitutional duty to impeach the rest of the war criminals and remove them from office.
Oh!
Like Sodom, George, Darth Cheney, Rumbo, Condi, and the rest of the warnicks need to be tried for crimes against humanity. Yes, we won some battles this week, but we need to stay on the offensive and work for a true change in peace. Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid need to know that we voted in record numbers to bring our troops home. The Democratic leadership also need to know that we stood in long lines and sometimes in the rain to vote for accountability and justice. We can't relax now that we have the upper hand. When the 110th Congress is sworn in January, we'll need to be there in the halls of Congress demanding that the people we just elected represent us and not the war machine. Our responsibility as American citizens don't end on Election Day. True democracy happens between elections, and the time between elections is where the real work gets done. We Americans are a formidable force when we unite and work together, and in the past, we've engineered and have been responsible for amazing change in our nation. Let's make history and do it again, says Cindy Sheehan. Do it again, like by the Beach Boys. You don't have that handy, do you?
You know I do.
I think we did that. Didn't we play that just the other day, do it again?
Yes.
Let's not do it again. 1090. 1,090 votes on the poll. Now, did you vote on the MSNBC poll?
Yeah, I did.
Good. See how easy that was? Where does it well? See, if you can't find something right off the bat, just Google it. Do it again. Capitol Records. I know he's going to chop it off before I start singing. Okay. Good job. Good job by me. Okay, let's take a look at that lineup. I guess you're still not eating. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's not going to affect my, my gut, my colon, my bowels, my, my appetite, my pleasure centers of my brain, all that other crap. Whether you guys eat or not, it just seems to me that Duff is shining you today.
Now he'll be here.
Yeah, she'll be there. Remember that scene in Fatso where he's bringing the Chinese food back?
Yeah, but I don't think that's Duff's problem.
Does he have a problem?
Not to me.
26 past 1. Don't be knocking it up, Meister. Now, okay, he's about all we got. That's the way it's been since the get-go, since day one.
Since the get-go.
The Duff Meister's always been there for us. Other than that, and of course, you got Joe Bell that takes you out to lunch more than he ever did for me.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just straighten him out on that and be sure and tell him that he won't be seeing me anytime soon.
Yeah.
In fact, you can put a period after the word anytime.
I told him that. He said, that's too bad, but oh well.
Told him what?
That you're never going to see Neil.
Yeah, so what's wrong with that? Show him the pictures on the wall. Say, I sure don't want to see that up close and personal.
I'll email him the whole freaking gallery.
Tell me you got a good point, yeah. You got an excellent point. Nice to be heard and definitely not to be seen. Some people are born to be seen, and you know how that goes?
That's right. I'll include some of those old fat pictures, too, so you can really get the weight of it.
See how svelte I am now at 194. Although the way you're hocking with the food and the ice cream and everything today, no doubt about it, I'm going to be eating something. Like I said, bowl of soup and a nice sandwich.
Good plan.
Maybe the fresher sandwich, the one with the extra meats and cheese on it. Stop and think about what I said there before about the Chinese restaurant. Have you ever thought about that before, about the fact that there's no cheese on it? They don't eat cheese.
Well, what about crab rangoon? Doesn't that have some kind of cheese?
Cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Crab Rangoon?
Yeah. Never had it?
No, never even heard of
Love
it.
it. It's really good.
Crab? You got the crabs? It's got cream cheese on it?
In it. They're like
Under
little
it?
triangular pockets of crab meat, onions, and cream cheese.
That sounds really good.
It is.
Like I said, maybe I'll get some chinks for lunch.
And say cheese.
How can I help you?
Yeah, calling for the restaurant for sale?
Yeah,
Yeah, What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick?
Yeah.
So I supposed to talk to someone named Fu.
Who?
Fu.
Okay, hold on just a second, okay?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, who's speaking?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. Who's speaking?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You got restaurant for sale?
Uh-huh.
How much you want for restaurant?
Well, you come here to look at it and talk to the boss.
I come over, maybe eat dinner with you.
Okay.
Does that price include all the walks?
Huh?
Huh?
什么？
怎么到上？
You Chinese?
Yeah, Chinese.
Okay, you come over 同老板讲啊。
等两场？打
2点半啊。
2点場應該打上㗎。
啊？
Yeah.
2點半哈。
2點鐘啦。Okay, how about I get order to go and then I come over and pick it up and look at restaurant?
Okay.
Okay? What you have?
You know, 你知道在哪里没有？
在你知
道哪里啊？
我要在哪
？31, 35 South Main 哈。
我在哪啊？
啊？
在我在哪 ？Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay.
我現在在揾㗎。
等你來同老闆講哈。
在我在打。
啊？
在拜。
And happy service. Okay, 133. So anyway, you're right. I've got a recipe here for salmon rangoon.
Okay.
By the way, did Mush help you up with your char hut?
No. Don't
What
worry.
about your...
We'll sound a bell and fire a gun off in the air when he does.
All right, listen, you guys will sit there till midnight if that's what it takes for free food. So salmon rangoon, and I'm not going to read the whole recipe because this ain't the Martha Stewart show, Mary Jones. 8 ounces of cream cheese softened. Ooh. I mean, there's nothing wrong with cream cheese, but cream cheese and salmon?
Cream cheese and salmon, what kind of Jew are you? What do you think goes on those bagels?
Who the hell eats salmon, man? You think I eat that crap? You think I eat bagels?
Go for the crab rangoon.
Yeah.
Not the salmon.
No, excuse me.
It's all good.
Anyway, there's an article here, because I Googled this, Chinese food and cheese.
Really?
And there's an article here, Chinese Philadelphia food, and it's got a picture, actually, it looks pretty good, of Chinese Philly steak cheese sandwiches. And it says, even though it's, not like really Chinese, it says it consisted of a miniature cheese steak inside of a spring roll casing, and amazingly, the casing was fried to perfection. Neither soggy nor brittle and dried out. It says, I rarely ordered spring rolls because very few restaurants cook them properly. I had to sacrifice the first one to my investigation. Here's a photo of another one. And they're like pictures of Philly steak cheese, Chinese, whatever it is. But they don't use very much Chinese. Now, do they not drink milk?
You asking me?
Yeah.
My eyes look all slanty to you or something? I know they eat dog. That's what I know.
What about dog milk?
Maybe.
Taliban insurgents have fought back against Afghan government and Western forces with surprising intensity this year, strengthened by drug money and the ability to shelter in Pakistan, a top U.S. official said yesterday. We are doing one heck of a job in Afghanistan, man. We are doing what we can to Afghanistan. Assistant Secretary of State for Central and South Asian Affairs Richard Boucher, whatever his name is, said efforts to extend the rule of President Karzai's government deeper into the provinces had run into tougher than expected resistance, as in just like that. As this extension of government goes out, we are challenging those people, and they're challenging us back, he told reporters at the heavily fortified U.S. Embassy in Kabul. They're turning Kabul into rubble. I think we've all been surprised by the intensity of the violence this year. It's got a number of factors. Part of it is drug money linking up with the insurgency. Part of it is these people have the ability to operate in and out of Pakistan. Oh, but we need to deal with it. In and out of Pakistan. More than 3,100 people, about a third of them civilians, have died this year, the bloodiest since U.S.-led forces supposedly ousted the Taliban strict Islamist government in 2001. Some senior Afghan officials accuse Pakistan of continuing to back its former protege with money, training, and other assistance, a charge, of course, denied by Islamabad because that stooge wants to stay alive, you know. I shot Musharraf.
Yeah.
1,106 votes on the poll, man. We're over 1,100. And I think it's a good time to play that bit.
Baby, launch a couple missiles.
It's appropriate.
Toward a place we know.
Absolutely.
And aim 'em at a fella whose first name begins with O. There's one thing we all understand.
Yes.
Al-Qaeda won't be finished until we blow up Pakistan.
All right.
We could chase them round forever with our tanks and all our troops, but special forces are so tired of jumping through them hoops. You know we need another plan, so let's cut out all the nonsense and go blow up Pakistan. Al-Qaeda needs a nuclear tent. Why don't we stop pussyfooting and go blow up Pakistan?
All right.
Boom, boom.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Bastard. All right.
Manners, Kopinski, woman or a man. Commandant of Army concentration camp. You replace the torture at Hussein's apple bread with a better way to rape and torture instead. Conquering Iraq because we hate them for something that we know they did not do. Bush-Obama Nazi occupation. Now we're all screwed.
Absolutely.
And there's Kopinski, let that freedom ring. And high electrified barbed wire do their thing. Take those naked inmates, stack them in a pile. There's a Kodak moment to say cheese and smile. Overseeing all that rapist torture. In wrestling, no atrocity for cause. Like Nuremberg, you only follow orders. Look what we've become. Janet Kopinski, Millie Battle died. Wrapped in her black rubber on a Saturday night. Oh!
1602 at 560 WQAM. So anyway, you notice he said smile and say cheese in that bit.
I noticed.
How's the char cheese coming, by the way? Is Duff there yet? No. Well, he's sure slow. I mean, he's got good intentions, but boy, he's mighty slow. But you don't want to be eating while the show's on anyway. That would be disgusting.
Yeah, that's bad radio.
That would set a bad precedent. Oh, we already got one. So here's a recipe for a Chinese chocolate chip cheese ball.
Okay.
And you know what's in it?
Cheese?
Cream cheese.
All right.
And what's that all about? Why is it that the Chinese ordinarily don't find cheese on most of the items, but they're into cream cheese? What's the big simmons? Maybe because it's kosher for Pesach. I don't know. It's got like from the Circle U Ranch. I don't get it. What the hell was that?
Well, you mentioned cheese balls. We don't have a song about cheese balls, but we have this.
What the hell is that?
Oh, you heard it. Once upon a time we could have played it.
2 tablespoons of
Oh, okay.
cinnamon.
All right. Put your salty balls away and cut the crap. One of 3 teenagers charged with attempting to rob illusionist David Copperfield as he left the performance has pleaded guilty. Terrence Riley, 17, was sentenced yesterday to 2 years in prison for 3 counts of robbery with a weapon and 1 count of attempted robbery. He'll be housed with other inmates under the age of 21. Circuit Judge Edward Garrison also ordered Riley to testify against his 2 co-defendants, his brother Dwayne Riley, 18, and Mark Heath Jones, 17. Copperfield and 2 female assistants were walking from the Kravis Center to their tour bus when they were approached by the teens April 23rd. The assistants handed over money and a cell phone, but the illusionist turned his pockets inside out to reveal nothing, although he was carrying his passport, wallet, and cell phone. He said in depositions that he had things on him, but it wasn't difficult to make it seem like there was nothing there, being the illusionist that he is.
He used prestidigitation.
He said the thieves fell for his nothing in my pockets trick. Terrence was remorseful for what occurred, has told the truth about his involvement, and would like everything to disappear, said his attorney Franklin Prince. Prince said Riley hopes to finish high school behind bars. Well, isn't that sweet, huh? Idiots. If you're going to rob somebody, don't rob a magician, okay, you idiots?
That's right.
A little lesson for all you kids out there.
Might use some hocus pocus on you.
1,114 votes on the poll. Deaths of Palestinians in Israeli raid awful, U.S. says. How do you like that? As opposed to just ordinary,
well, they shouldn't have attacked Israel.
As opposed to ordinary pedestrian deaths. The U.S. said yesterday that the killing of those 18 Palestinian civilians during an Israeli military raid was awful, but urged Palestinians against responding with more violence. U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice called Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to express her condolences over the deaths. According to U.S. State Department spokesman Sean McCormick, it's a terrible tragedy. It was an awful thing for the family members and the Palestinian people, McCormick said, before adding that the answer and the response is not more violence, not more rocket attacks. The Israeli military shelled houses in the northern Gaza Strip Wednesday, killing 18 civilians, including women and children, in response to nearby launches by Palestinian militants of makeshift rockets into Israeli territory. Israel has said that the attack was an accident and launched an investigation. It was an accident and somebody got hurt. Rice also spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Olmert, who's scheduled to meet with U.S. President Bush on Monday at the White House. Bush issued a written statement to say he was deeply saddened by the loss of life and urged the Israeli government to quickly investigate the incident to ensure it cannot happen again. Oh, it'll happen again, all right, and again. Because both sides is filled with too many crazy people. That's what it's all about. It's the Jews and the Arabs and the Arabs and the Jews and the shmata heads and the other shmata heads. It all depends on the headgear, man. You're wearing your tefillin and they're going to start the killing. The killing sparked outrage in the Palestinian territories and raised fears that violence could escalate. Palestinian military have threatened to end a ceasefire and resume attacks against the Israelis. And yada, yada, yada. And they hit us first, we're going to hit them back. And like a bunch of overgrown children, man. Like a bunch of religious fanatics. Look at that. Look at the way they're marching in the street there.
Arabic language station.
Waving their arms, and they got them shmatas on over their face. What the hell's that all about? It's not even cool there for crying out loud.
Hey, guess who's here?
Duff is there with the food from Char Hut.
Duff. Yes.
Well, thanks a lot, Duff, for bailing these guys out because they were really bad-mouthing you big time.
Yeah. We're polishing over here, as they say in China.
Well, you know, when you tell us that we got tubs of ice cream coming in and weenies, I think Duff took the weenies home for himself.
No comment.
Wouldn't be the first time. 1,124 votes on the poll. Here's the result. And it's kind of a sobering result, this poll. Maybe that's why I'm not too crazy about these polls. Although that one on MSNBC there about should Bush be impeached, and 87% of more than 300,000 respondents, man, that's pretty powerful crap. You know what?
I know it.
Of course, it's only us liberal commie pinkos like me to watch MSNBC so we can see Keith Olbermann on there. And your girlfriend.
Nomination in the summer. Guys like Bob Casey Jr. in Pennsylvania, he said he would have supported Alito. So a lot of these Democrats, a lot of these base Democrats out there.
That's MSNBC for you, okay? Just for those who wonder. So what did Duff bring you?
Charred cheese with onions.
Oh, yeah. Just shove it in the chute there and shoot it right on up here. Man, sounds really good. How many of your friends and or family listen to Neil? That's our poll today. 1,125 votes. That's not too shabby considering our very late start and the fact that we laid off of this thing today. We give it a good rest. Sometimes you have to give your poll a rest.
Do you?
A few, 424, a few of them listen. 0, 289. Almost none, 284. That's a real shot. 0 and almost none, which totals 40, almost half. Most of them listen 57 or else. Some of them 38. I hate this poll. Only 21. 1.8% hate the poll today. Doesn't that show? See, that's uplifting, regardless of the rest of the crap. Huh?
Whatever.
They like it. All of them listen 20. Yeah, likely story. And only my enemies listen 14. Why would anybody that I like listen to this? Right?
Right.
I guess we've got to give one last warning while you're digging into your Char Hut cheese and stuff. And your Chinese cheese balls. BSO deputies will be conducting DUI saturation patrols. Now, how often does this go on? This is only the second one you've ever sent to me.
Oh, well, it started the week you were on vacation, so this would make the third time.
Oh, the third?
That we've been getting these reports.
DUI saturation patrols are coming up tonight from 8:30 until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning in the areas of Deerfield Beach, Pompano Beach, and Oakland Park. And then tomorrow night, Saturday night, from about 8:30 in the p.m. to 5 o'clock Sunday morning in areas of unincorporated Central Broward, Pompano Beach, and Oakland Park. Impaired drivers will be identified, and the DUI laws will be actively enforced. They will drag your drunken ass away, and they'll stomp on you and beat the living snot out of you, and then make sure you don't do it again. Even Josh would agree that the drunken driver is the really dangerous driver, almost as dangerous as the sober old driver in South Florida, but not quite.
Oh, yeah.
Or the no spaghetti lays. Now, what are you chewing on, mister? Now, do you bring all the same or like a variety of stuff? Like
I got a burger and some onion rings.
Oh, and some onion rings. Boy, they got really good onion rings.
Yeah, they do.
Hot. And you're doing this to me just before I'm going to head out for lunch. Of course, along with my soup and my burger without the bun, I could probably get some really good onion rings, too.
Probably.
Ooh. No, not just probably, I know.
Get yourself some crab rangoon.
Yeah, I got some crabs over here for you, okay? They're running all over the damn wall and on the ceiling right now.
Yeah, they have a shampoo for that now.
1,130 votes on the poll. I'm pretty proud of that. You're not?
Why
do I waste my time asking you such
rat's ass.
I can tell by the polls you put on there. I can tell. At least one thing, you live up to your, to your vision.
It doesn't affect our lives.
It's not going to affect our paycheck.
Right.
Come payday, man, are we going to get any more because we had a great poll and we got like 2,000 votes?
No.
Absolutely not. So let's just slap any crap on there that we can. Let's be honest about it.
Sure.
Let's start doing some really, like one of your polls, like what? What? What, and then
what?
like...
a whole bunch of random crap.
Yeah, just a bunch of random garbage on there. Rangoon garbage. So what is that I'm supposed to be eating, like mouse meat Rangoon with cheese?
Yeah.
That's the one mystery. We should be getting plenty of faxes on that by Monday morning. I want to see that fax machine loaded with faxes explaining to us why there is no cheese in Chinese restaurants. They took, there's CH in Chinese, but they took the CH out of the cheese. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why. Which is probably just as well because cheese, even though I love cheese, God, do I love it. And I love that French onion soup, with the real thick cheese. They used to have great French onion soup at Monk's Inn. They got really good French onion soup in the dining room at Pompano Park. And you know where else they have really, really good thick cheese on top of the onion soup? Is at Ruth Chris. Now, don't say that too loud because somebody we all know and love. He may be listening online somewhere, Your close personal friend.
Who?
Your close personal buddy who likes eating at Ruth Chris, especially when I'm picking up the...
Oh, that buddy.
That buddy, yeah.
I have so many friends that I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, he's your close personal buddy, make no mistake. Although I think he might talk behind your back.
The biggest names, the best talent. This is Neil Rogers, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
This is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie. I'm interested in getting some operations done.
Okay.
And some body contouring and some liposuction.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you get some tummy tuck and lip augmentation, cosmetic breast surgery, facelift, all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering...
What would you like to start with?
Well, I need to get everything done. Probably the first thing I'd like to have removed is my thing.
Okay, we don't do that.
No. Could you do breast implants, though?
It can be done, but I don't know if they would do it right away.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
5,000.
Excellent. I'd like to have my skin resurfaced, too.
Mm-hmm.
Laser surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Have the lambs stopped crying yet, Mommy?
Excuse me?
Don't hurt Mommy's little baby. It puts the lotion in the basket. I'd like to get the liposuction that I saw on TV.
Okay.
Can you make me look more like a woman?
Well, we'll have to see you first, and then upon looking at you, we can tell you that when we see you.
Should I wear my skin suit made of body parts, Mommy?
If you'd like to.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
Yes.
Okay. There is a $100 consultation fee.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
My name is Buffalo Bill.
Okay, let me get a little information from you, okay? Just one moment.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Do you want to come in for consultation for
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay. Would you like to make an appointment, or do you want to call me back?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand.
I've got my skin suit nipple necklace.
Bill.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I understand that. Would you like to
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Would you like to make an appointment?
It puts the lotion in the basket.
Okay, I will talk to you another time, okay?
It puts the lotion in the basket. Hello?
Bye, bye, bye!